Hail and foully met. Welcome to Shadow of the Demon Lord, our traditional closing Extra Life game on Saturday night, going until midnight Pacific time. I am Erik Scott de Bie, the Demon Master of this particular game, and it is a follow-up to our Shadow of the Demon Lord game from last year, although you don't necessarily need to have seen that in order to appreciate this one. So we'll be going over a little bit of stuff that happened then. But before we get to that, let's go around and tell everybody who we are. I was supposed to list the order in which we went, but I did not do that. So each person just call out the next person and we'll go with that. So take it away, Allie.
All right, I am right up. Hi, everybody. I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short. I'm a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. I wasn't in the last one, so, those of you who've seen it probably have noticed that. But hi, I'm here tonight, so I'm looking forward to folks getting to see my character. And why don't we bounce to Jen?
Hello, I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me on the interwebs as at DreamWisp, and I stream on Twitch as DreamWisp Jen. I just got to announce this first time I'm actually saying it out loud on a stream. That I consulted on the new Dungeon Master's Guide. Ooh. So that was very exciting news. So I do stuff like that. I do actual play streams tomorrow on the Players and Book channel at 3 p.m. Pacific. You can come check out our aquatic tabletop campaign. It's fun. We're at sea doing chaotic things there. And tonight, well, we'll talk about our characters in a minute. I'm so used to my other intro. Also, please, we have an exciting week ahead in this country. If you're in the US, please vote. If you are registered, go do that. Some states allow some same-day registration. You can check your registration at vote.gov. It's an important thing to spend one day every 4 years, more often if you can, with the other elections. But do your civic duty. Come participate. A lot of people are counting on things that are going to happen. So do that thing.
I'll say it very directly. Vote, yes. Vote blue, please. Thank you.
For the love of God.
Yeah.
A lot of people here are depending on this with our lives.
What's happening in this setting? This is what happens when you keep voting red or you keep not voting. Okay, it's terrible. All right.
Good evening, everybody. I am Joel Everett, usually one of your mods, posting as Rumpus Imperator. Quick content warning for tonight. Shadow of the Demon Lord is a game of heroic horror. Most content on this channel is PG-13, but we are officially out of prime time, and we could end up in a variety of hard R horror-related subject material.
Multiple F-bombs.
Gross. Consider yourself warned. Who are you, Yang Yang?
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Yang Wang. I am a member of the Dungeon Scrawlers. I'm also an employee of Wizards of the Coast, and anything I say is my own opinion only. Yes, we do have to say that at the beginning of every stream. It is very explicit and very clear, and I'm doing the thing. Anyways, tonight, thank you everybody that's been here all day for our Extra Life events. We have more things tomorrow, but please, please, please enter the giveaway that we have using !ticket in the chat. Not only are we going to be giving away a set of Phoenix dice at the end of this stream, but we are also going to be giving away one $50 gift certificate to Monty Cook Games. Yeah, and hi. Rosemary, last but not least.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Rosemary Jones. I started out as writing novels for Wizards of the Coast, and these days I write for a franchise called Arkham Horror. My fourth novel for Arkham Horror, The Nightmare Quest of April May, will be out in early 2025. But you can go back and buy the first three in the Fitzmaurice legacy if you want. And I'm always delighted when I'm invited to come and play because this is a really, really good cause these guys are supporting. And as I've been saying online under Rosemary Jones, which is where you can find me at most of the socials, throw a coin to your Twitcher.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
There are a number of incentives that you will find under my name on the roster on our Extra Life page. These can be boons for the players, banes against the players. If we achieve a certain amount of overall funding on my page. They'll be bolstered against certain curses that might befall them. I will not be watching the incentive structure, so if any one of my players wants to just keep an eye on that and let me know when something happens, I will take your word for it. And with that, I think we will get started, and we'll introduce the characters organically as it happens. So, the Kingdom of Rule, the capital of Caracas, is a kingdom in decline, shall we say. They carved out their space on the main continent of the world through war and terrible deeds, dark deeds in the past, which have largely been left in the past, but people don't necessarily change, especially when they're not held accountable for their actions. And the government of the kingdom is incredibly corrupt. There is a king, and this king is old and has maintained his grip on power through some really shady dealings. There is also a council. The council and the king are constantly in competition for who has the real power in the kingdom.
Luckily, this is all fantasy.
Luckily, this is all fantasy and has nothing to do with what you should be doing on Tuesday. Please vote. Okay. So the people are the ones who are left out of this equation. They are typically the ones who suffer and bear the brunt of the kingdom's excesses. However, over the last few years, a sparkling light of hope has appeared, like the fading light at dusk as the sun sets. That is Twilight Company. Twilight Company is formed from a band of adventurers who made a name for themselves, saving the capital city from a serial killing monster several years ago. They gained a significant monetary reward for their efforts, and through their cunning and financial planning, set that up as a starter for turning their fellowship into a whole enterprise. Now they are an entire mercenary company that other armies of neighboring lands fear. They have sold their swords primarily to Caracas, and with their loyalty and efforts, the king has won a number of decisive battles against uprisings in various states on the frontier of the kingdom. They are heroes, both among the nobles and among the peasants, among the common folk, because their leaders, that is, the magnetic and charming Drudge, an orc of surpassing will and tactical brilliance, and Tess Tourmaline, a noblewoman who has matured into a great and fearsome knight. The common folk look up to these two as basically fairy tale characters. They have a private small circle of allies and companions that they entrust with leadership as well. And that would be the players here. The brand new person is Alasta, and she has a different relationship to the company that we'll get into when it comes out. So the company has received an invitation to a royal ball where the king is set to honor your efforts and celebrate your heroism. I'm going to go around and ask each of you to tell me your characters. First of all, introduce your character. Tell me about how your character is feeling upon arriving at the ball. And then tell me about your role in the company. I've already told you about two of those in particular, but maybe they'll give you a little bit more detail. So I think we'll start with either Drudge or with Tess. Does one of you want to go first?
Happy to start.
All right, start with Drudge.
So, over the years, Drudge was hoping that he would grow into a intimidating, fearsome orc of just massive brawn and fearsome disposition, but instead the fates have been cruel and he's grown to be extremely handsome instead, almost beautiful. His features fine, slight almost, despite how strong physically and strong-willed he is. He finds that because of his great physical beauty, he's become more and more frustrated because over time, despite like the number of military accomplishments that we have, he finds that the nobles, they don't take him as seriously as he thinks they should. Neither him nor Twilight Company. And in fact, he feels like every time we go into negotiations, there's always something unsettling about the way that the gazes of the nobles trail from his face to take in the rest of him. And he begins getting offers that he finds very distasteful. And so, fortunately, we've always been very successful and very strong. But I think that simply because of the way he looks, he's been getting people who are both envious of him and also desirous of him, and wanting to like use him as like an object. So he's coming in to this ball just dressed from head to toe in finery, white lace silks, silver embroidered, with like the shape of the Twilight Company's mascot, which is I don't know, Eric, do you have any?
Let me toss it out to the players. Is there one that you would particularly like to be the mascot for the company?
I kind of want to just say like Rosemary's character. That's kind of our mascot, yeah.
That's possible, though that would kind of undercut her role within the company.
That's true. That's
maybe
true.
your coat of arms
going for Twilight.
Klack often disappears. Klack is a mysterious character.
Well, maybe it's just like maybe it's a bolt or something. Then
a cog.
A cog. Thank you. That was the word I was trying to get to.
That moves the entire kingdom.
Yeah, I love that. Actually,
I love that. Kingdom moves, or will soon.
Or will
if
soon.
Drudge has his way.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. It's
because didn't we start with a broken gun? Wasn't that the beginning of our last session? So I love that idea. It's something we've got to repair. So a cog fits in that.
I love it. Yeah, maybe the cog is like a little bit stylized so that it almost looks like a sun or something. Like the teeth
like
of
maybe
it
the lower half of it is dark and the upper half is light, like it's a setting sun, but it's just a cog. It's simple but evocative. Nice. All right, we'll go with that.
Nice. Yeah. So he's got that like embroidered, on his breast, and he takes in the room, and he's looking around for his biggest benefactor, whichever noble that will be, because I think that Drudge is just like business minded tonight.
Sure.
He knows that he has to like give them respect and spend time with them, because otherwise, and dance with them or eat with them, otherwise they'll feel slighted.
Okay, I am just going to toss out that you have a particular alliance with Councilman Ancaris, and he has been sponsoring your career for quite some time. He lends you coin when you need it and hooks you up with inside information from the council. So he's fairly discreet, so he's a good ally to have. Yes, Drudge and the greater company have been developing assets within the kingdom for some time. Okay, let's go with Tess.
So Tess is young. She's how long has passed since our last game?
It's been a few years. She was 17 at the time, so she's probably in her early, maybe mid-20s.
Okay. So by far the youngest of our company. And still has that sort of blush of youth. And still a little bit of the hopeful glint in her eye. But certainly has seen some stuff now comparatively to the last time. It may have somewhat slightly dulled her impulsiveness, but not by much. And she has this sort of shocking swath of red hair, which she tends to keep under a hood, because it often makes her more recognizable than she wants to be, particularly in situations like the ball, where she is around the kind of people she had to grow up with, where she is especially uncomfortable. But she knows this is part of her responsibility and therefore is present reluctantly. What am I missing here?
Has Tess kind of detached herself from the world of the nobility entirely, or does she maintain some connections?
She's maintained some connections because it can be useful at times. There was a little bit of hopping the wall to go out into the city when she was younger. Now she has smoothed that out a bit more, and it's a bit of a cleaner transition between the two worlds.
Mhm.
But obviously there's an uneasy detente between those two worlds,
Okay.
and one is much more uncomfortable for her than the other.
Makes sense.
So I think the relationships are still there when they need to be, but it's sort of like going home to visit your family at the holidays.
Yeah, I was going to
More
suggest
than
that the battlefield is a freeing place for Tess, where she can
yes,
do anything she wants and be whoever she wants.
yes,
And trying to hook back into the noble life is uh it imposes a certain limitations on her, right? That
yes.
have maybe become increasingly difficult to shoulder. And how is Tess dressed for the ball?
A proper noble attire because you have to be.
Mhm.
But with adventuring clothes underneath. That's a lesson that she learned early on. This sort of always be ready for things to go wrong, and have the skirt you can rip off, and have fighting attire ready to go at any moment. So I think that's quite a bit
Excellent.
of what's going on.
And are Tess and Drudge entering together or spaced out in some way? Is one of you going first?
I think we enter like side by side, but I
Together,
think
yeah.
yeah, but not like
Presenting a unified front.
yeah, and we might head to like different destinations after we enter together.
You
And I
are
think Tess
aware. Oh,
probably has a formalized version of the sigil woven into the pattern of her formal wear.
okay. Which is a dress
Yeah, it's a dress
okay.
over
over
adventuring
over
pants.
clothes you can move in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are aware that there are rumors and stories in the kingdom of your connection between the two of you. Exactly how true those stories are, I don't know. That's up to you, not me. But some people think you are, destined lovers or reborn heroes from another age. All of that. Anyway,
Between
but
Tess and
that is
Drudge.
but between Tess and Drudge, yes.
Okay.
So there's that undercurrent with people looking at you entering together.
That's because all the onlookers, they don't really know. They're not inside the company. They just know, and they just see like two attractive, charismatic leaders who are usually together and thick as thieves, and then they just like assume whatever it is they want to assume. But we use that to our advantage.
Absolutely using it to our advantage. And the way that people would have sort of mythologized Twilight Company, that if that's playing into that mythology, that's fine.
That is exactly the correct word.
What people think about us doesn't matter. That's not incredibly important. But occasionally Tess does find herself enjoying that there is a mythology about us. She does have a proclivity for the romantic a bit, whether that's in story or that's in the people she encounters. But
you always sense that there's like this distance, like a thin wall, invisible wall between you and Drudge. Like in the times that you maybe have tried to get closer to him or like have more casual conversation and inquire about like his private thoughts or his past, he's always sort of gently like guided you away. You have this feeling that he's sort of like got something on his mind. There's always something that he's like not quite saying to even you.
And I think I'm always very respectful of that. I think that's, again, it's people can think whatever they want. Our company has figured out how we work, and that's all that matters, is that it works for our group, and everybody else can think what they think if that helps get us the things we need to do our job.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Standing at slightly behind you, the third person to enter the ball. Who's that going to be? I'm looking at you, other players.
Well, depending on the deal that she cut and who she cut it with, it's probably going to be Alasta.
All right. So Tess and Drudge, you're standing there. They announce you to this gathering of maybe 60 or 70 people and all of their many attendants and such in this grand ballroom. There's dancing, there's food, there's a long table in 3 different lines right around the room. And you're taking it in. You're just standing there, kind of like maybe basking in the adoration a little bit. And then Alasta steps up next to you. And what does Alasta say?
Oh, this is lovely. As she's looking around.
All right, tell us about Alasta, Allie.
So, okay, the primary question I have here is, am I operating as Alasta, or am I masquerading?
That's up to you.
It might be a little simpler if I just operate as Alasta. Alasta appears to be a woman in her mid-30s, fairly beautiful, deep black hair, green eyes. Very kind of, she's not dressed nobly, certainly. She's certainly dressed well, but her attire is definitely more the sort of thing that a high-class courtesan would pick out than something a noble woman would wear.
Okay.
So a little more
it's
daring,
flashy.
probably.
It's
flashy,
daring.
Certainly.
More cleavage. All of that.
Yes. So yes. And she's just kind of taking it all in with a little smile, a little smirk.
And what is Alasta's relationship to the company exactly?
Well, I believe we talked about I mean, I'm not entirely fully clear on that. She's not a member of the company, but she has enough of a connection that she was able to strike a deal, trading of favors for an invitation along with the group.
So Alasta owns an inn, or as some of the more well-to-do about the capital would describe it, or a bordello. And she is friendly to the company. You have crashed with her on many occasions, and she supplies you with goods, with rest and recuperation, and with information, which is very, very important to your operations in and outside the city. She has parlayed your relationship into joining your entourage to this celebration of your skill and achievement. She is not part of the company, but she is definitely an ally to the company. Alasta has some kind of secret, just as Drudge has some kind of secret, but maybe not quite the same. Alasta, do they know Alasta's secret?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I think she plays that very, very close to the chest. She is strange. She is a little quirky. As long
She
as you've
seems
known
very
her,
vivacious
very
whenever you meet her,
vivacious. But
day or night.
yes, but she does have the strangest of quirks in that she only ever seems to speak in the third person.
Hmm.
Which could just be an eccentricity of her profession, for all you know. It's more charming than unsettling.
Is that
Uh,
really like unique amongst the populace, or like are there other people that also talk in third person?
some nobles do, the ones that are particularly full of themselves. But Alasta just seems to do it so naturally. Like she's not putting on airs, just how she refers to herself. It's like she's narrating her life rather than living it.
Alasta thinks she's never seen a gathering quite so lovely as this.
That
That
sort of
Lovely
thing.
on the outside, but you have to really beware the people that are gathered here tonight.
Well, the most poisonous flowers tend to be the most beautiful.
Yet they are still poisonous. Keep that in mind.
All right. Standing on Tess's other side is a flanking machine-like person. And let's hear about Klack, please.
Oh, are you sure standing on her side? Perhaps already in the ballroom amid the flowers?
That's
Possibly
entirely
a
possible.
statue decoration.
If that's what you want to go with, that's what we'll go with.
Yep. So
So we'll just say maybe Tess glanced to her side because she's accustomed to seeing Klack there, but Klack isn't there because you already had this arranged. So,
I provide better protection for the mistress if I am in place.
okay. So what kind of cover do you currently have?
Klack is currently amid the flower arrangements. There's a bank of flowers against the wall, kind of on one end of the banqueting tables, and there appears to be a clockwork statue amid these flowers. It's very highly polished because it's a ball. You wouldn't go with your rust and mud and stuff on it. An interesting thing about the Twilight Company for the last few years is there's been a number of, shall we say, advantageous deaths that have occurred, perhaps before a battle, perhaps after a battle.
Perhaps
Often
rivals of the company,
rivals
perhaps
of the
people who
company,
spoke out against them or voted against using them in council.
or enemies of the state, as it were.
Mm.
Oddly enough, these bodies are often found in locked rooms. Some of them appear to have simply died of shock, perhaps electrical shock. But there's no explanation for this, nor how the assassin could have gained access to them and left. It just happens, and it may be connected with the Twilight Company. Maybe it's just pure luck. At other times, Tess is seen accompanied by her bodyguard, who's been with her since childhood. A mechanical Ottoman who does not know how old it is. It has some script on the inside of its breastplate, which may reveal what its origins are, but nobody can read it. But over the last few years, Klack has become more and more independent. It is often not directly with the company, but appears before or after the battle. And as I said, tonight, if you look around the ballroom and if you look very closely at the flower arrangement, there's a very beautiful, highly polished clockwork statue there. Could it possibly be the famous Klack?
I
Who
just
knows?
want to
It's in disguise.
I want to ask this very
Sticking.
important question. Are you disguised as the Clockwork Cupid?
Of course.
Excellent.
Amazing.
The
Excellent.
little bow.
So let's be clear about the Empire of Rule, or the Empire of Caracas, which claims dominion over the continent of Rule. Has a certain mechanical, technological level that includes clockwork devices and gunpowder and pistols and that sort of thing. Those are primarily the province of the nobility and those with a great deal of coin. But you will see swords and guns in equal measure, as well as clockwork automatons. One thing to note about Klack is that Klack has a small key the very back of their head, kind of near the base of their skull, which they cannot reach. Their limbs cannot reach the key. But
That
the
was a
key is
design flaw.
constantly it's a flaw. Exactly. It's a control measure is what it is. And that key keeps Klack going. If that key stops, then Klack also stops and becomes a statue in truth. But anyone who looks very closely, and Klack has positioned themselves such that no one can see this immediately, will note that Klack's key is turning in the back of their neck.
Yes, Klack is very good at disguising that,
Okay.
though.
All right. And that leaves our final member of the group to attend the ball, or at least our final member of the PCs to attend the ball. Egog.
Egog is actually not coming in through the front door. Before I introduce my character, I would just like to let you know, Eric, that somebody has donated $50
Okay.
under the handle I Double Dog Dare You to TPK
Oh,
and bought the Shadow Spreads.
Great. I
oh.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks.
So tonight, due to his improbable survival in last year's game, Mouse Eye is still around.
Egog Mouse Eye. Yep.
Yes. He has delved into magic since last year, and he has become a magician and then a wizard, focused heavily on divinations. And lately, what has been happening is every single divination, if he looks out far enough, no matter who he's divining for or about, everything comes back doom.
He sees only disaster in the future.
Yes, and this, it doesn't matter what he cannot figure out the right question to ask. He can tell that there is a tipping point coming, but he has not been able to pin down exactly what it is. And he would much rather be back in his little tiny hut trying to work this out. But Drudge told him he really had to come to this thing. So he is actually he brushed off his best set of leathers, and he is coming up through the kitchens, dressed more or less as a high-end servant. That tier of clothing, because there's no way you really want him mixing with the nobles or the clients, if at all possible. Egog is small, even for a goblin, slightly larger than a Cabbage Patch doll, and he has to hunch forward to balance out the large rat tail that is part of his goblin heritage. He wears dark leather, his dark leather clothes, and the hat and shock of orange hair from last year are both gone, replaced with a shaved head covered by a cowl with holes cut for his ears. He has left his knife and whip at home for the occasion, though he walks with a carved stick with notches on it that make a person's eyes water if they stare at them too long. Around his neck, he wears a set of smoked goggles that those of you who watched last year's episode may be familiar with.
One of them have a crack in it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
A
Egog's
trophy, shall we say.
Yes.
Mhm.
Egog's divinations have led him to some very dark corners of the universe, and people find his presence deeply unsettling. Dogs growl and then whimper when he comes near, and children cry in his presence, and this makes him very sad. But he is doing his best to stay close to Drudge, to advise him, but staying out of sight as much as possible.
All right. So this is going to be my first question, and it's going to lead to the first challenge roll of the session. So challenge rolls in Shadow of the Demon Lord are a d20 roll to which you add boons or banes. A boon is a d6, and you add the result you rolled to the d20. A bane is a d6, you subtract the result you rolled from the d20. The challenge rating is almost always 10, unless you're doing an opposed roll against a particular creature. Like if you were trying to hide from something, your DC would be its perception rating. So in this case, it's just going to be a 10, and it's going to be to determine Egog's reputation in the capital. And I think this will be will. And your difficulty rating will be 10 plus your level of corruption.
Oh dear. Like I said, been in some dark magic in the last year. So I have a -1 adjustment, and my target is a 15.
Ooh,
What?
ooh.
So I rolled a 15, so that's a 14 overall. I failed.
Okay. So Egog has a reputation as a dark sorcerer who is part of Twilight Company. In addition to animals being uncomfortable around him and children running from him in the street, the tales often speak of this evil goblin spawned from the pits of hell itself, who is part of Twilight Company. This is why you don't take him to nice things.
I think Drudge makes it a point to bring him to everything as both like a statement of Twilight Company's intent, like our ultimate mission and ambition is to create like a just and equitable kingdom where all
Right.
peoples are free to
Right.
walk around and be themselves and live a
Did,
full life.
did you two argue about this before the ball? Because he said he came in with the servants, basically, rather than having an official announcement as he came in. Did Drudge and Egog argue about this?
Drudge would definitely encourage you to walk with us and enter with us, whether you're just like a servant or try to sneak in with the servants. He gives you that choice, but he does everything he can to encourage you to come with.
Egog understands and appreciates that, but still, I wouldn't say they fought exactly, but it was definitely a strong disagreement. I think Drudge assumes the best in people, while Egog is just assuming that, has perhaps a more realistic view of what his presence will the responses his presence will elicit.
Drudge does seem to be very optimistic and confident in his ability to handle things, which has never really steered him wrong exactly. But he is not evincing so much corruption as Egog is. So, yeah. All right. So eventually it was settled up with Egog going in with the servants. Okay. So primarily, the people who are representing Twilight Company are Drudge, Tess, and your special guest, Alasta. Now, my question for the group, but primarily for Tess, is what happened to Halash? Halash was Tess's manservant, essentially, last year, so several years ago. And he's not here. Is he alive? Did he perish on the battlefield? Did he perish under other circumstances? What happened?
You're muted, Jen.
Jen. Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry. Just for the sake of Extra Life 2025, I don't want to kill off someone's character when they're not here.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Valid.
I'm sure Ben will appreciate it.
So I think we should keep Halash in the world, but
Okay.
we have to have something tragic befall something, right? That is
For-
what was demanded of us by as
don't worry
tribute.
about that.
Perhaps
Don't worry about that. That will
your
happen.
No, Eric has something else in
father
mind.
I know
found-
he
We should
does.
worry.
perhaps Tess's father found out about Halash,
Oh.
and he is now on a very
Oh.
extended road trip for his own safety.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me suggest that, for context for everybody, Halash was having an affair with Tess's mother back several years ago. And when Tess's powerful, noble father found out, maybe it was wise for Halash to leave town. So let's say Halash is in a distant land commanding a different contingent of Twilight Company. And he is there for his own safety and for political reasons, right? Like having him there would really complicate this, and you need Lord Tourmaline on your side. So, make sense?
Yes.
All right. Halash definitely would have. How would Halash have felt going into this event? Would he have been happy here? Would he have been anxious?
I
What do you
mean,
think?
he was always a little bit anxious. That was just sort of his standard MO. But also he was always very much about get the job done. So if this is part of the job, he would reluctantly be doing it and talking, probably being angry that I wasn't more enthused about being amongst the nobility and
He'd be
playing
giving you
fancy dress
tips.
up.
He'd be giving you
Yeah.
tips about how you're standing and how you're presenting yourself and all of that. Yeah.
Why didn't I tighten my corset more? You know.
Is that really a respectable length for your dress? Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe why are my boots peeking out from underneath? Like
You're showing entirely too much ankle, and we can tell
I'm
that you're
showing
wearing
entirely
boots,
too
Tess.
much pants underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I hear the sound of armor?
So you're a little bit nostalgic about Halash and how he should really be here with you. If only he hadn't, done what he did.
Yeah, but maybe
Been
he was the
caught.
one. Yeah, maybe he was the one who would always like inform us and point us out to like, oh, that's that noble, that's that family, that's what they're all about. This is what their family does. This is how much money they have.
Oh,
And that's
yeah,
why
he's
we have
very good at that.
Alasta. That's why we have Alasta with us now because she's
Alasta
Yeah.
does have that
Yeah.
knowledge, yeah.
Mhm.
And she's not going to chide Tess on anything.
yeah.
No.
No,
Just the
no.
tea.
Okay, so you enter into this ballroom. You have this kind of wave of nostalgia. Drudge is brooding a little bit. He always seems to be brooding a little bit to those who know him well. But he's very good at projecting this air of like charm and affability and tranquility, right? But you can tell that there's something going on with him. Okay. Sure enough, Councilman Hakaris sees you and says, "Ah, my good friends, welcome, welcome." The nobles at this revel, this ball, are dressed often in well, not all of them, but many of them are dressed in a very traditional kind of like toga and sash kind of thing. The
We
Empire.
have a Bane from the wonderful Aaron M. Evans.
Hey, thank you.
We have
Hey.
a Bane.
Excellent.
Wait,
Hey.
a Bane
Thank you,
against us,
Aaron.
isn't
We
it?
love
Bane
you.
is
The
against
party
you,
has
yeah.
a Bane against us, yes.
Boo, Aaron.
We'll
She
see
knows
how
her
that
role.
Thank you,
manifests.
Aaron.
Love Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Boo.
I'm putting down Bane 1. Okay, here we
I'm
go.
gonna bane you in your game, Aaron. I'm gonna remember this.
Okay, so Hankaris is also wearing this this toga with the sash, which dates back to the traditional establishment of the empire, which is they're basically kind of like a classical. In our world, we call them like the Roman Empire, essentially. But they persisted for over 1,000 years, and have overseen this evolution of technology to significant heights. And now when people wear those things, they typically wear those to like council meetings. In order to be heard at council, you need to be wearing at least the sash and traditionally the toga as well. It's just an old, very outdated tradition among the council. Anyway, he comes over to greet you. Ah, it is so good to see you, Drudge, my friend. Ah, Lady Tourmaline, you are looking lovely. He reaches to take your hand to kiss it.
I sort of very reluctantly like let him,
Okay.
because I know I'm supposed to do the things when
Yep.
I'm at the thing. I'm at work for the stuff.
He does.
But
He
ugh.
kisses your hand. His lips are wet and not
Mm.
particularly pleasant.
Man, Drudge like stealthily puts his hand on her like elbow and kind of like squeezes it a little bit as to remind her like we really need to be in his good graces.
Councilman Hankaris is a helpless toady of a man. He has a lot of information and he's very interested in your success. And as long as you're successful, he is right there with you. And he is very pleased to see you. And he remarks on, it's so good that you didn't bring that horrid little goblin with you. Ugh. only the lovelies are
My
your
hand
guests tonight.
tightens, and I start to.
Yeah, he lets it go. He says, "Ah, please, you must reserve a dance for me, Lady Tourmaline. It would be my great honor."
I'm literally biting my tongue.
Squeezing the elbow a little tighter.
And he turns to Drudge and he says, "Have you heard the rumors? The rumors about the prize that awaits you at this ball?"
I
There's a
don't believe I
prize.
have.
"Oh, well, I have been doing assiduous work on your behalf, my friend. The king plans to elevate you
Finally, after
to
all these years.
knighthood."
That's not exactly what he promised.
Well, I'm sure you've made your own arrangements, but can you imagine being part of the peerage, being part of the nobility of the kingdom? Think of the influence that that will bring. Think of the name and the recognition. Oh, I'm so excited for you, my friend. Perhaps
The
you'll even,
responsibility and expectation.
yes, those as well. Perhaps I shall even be seeing you at council one of these years.
Did he mention?
Congratulations.
But did he mention anything about when it is that he was going to make me a lord?
Oh, I believe at the stroke of midnight, you know the king, he loves his little dramas.
Oh, okay. So it's not just knighthood. I will get a land and title.
I'm sure that's what he intends. You
Good.
But you can certainly ask Lady Tourmaline. Yeah, you are a knight, my lady. I'm sure you can tell him all about it. And he kind of withers a little bit under the stare. He's like, "Oh, well, I should really, I should really be seeing about that punch. If you'll excuse me." And then he odiously heads off.
Lovely chap. Alasta just kind of like
I
says
hate him. I hate him so
sarcastically.
much. I hate him so much.
Just
Very-
stomach it for now. It's only temporary.
He's very sweaty.
Tess, what do
I'm
you
just
make of
wiping
this?
my hand.
Where's Halash when you need to wipe your hand on his arm?
Right?
Tess, what do you make of this king's promise for knighthood?
It's the first I've heard of it, so I don't know.
You made it sound like it's not quite what you're after.
I mean, he promised me after the last campaign that he would make me a lord and give me my own piece of land so that we could take the company and begin to settle there in earnest. You know, we've always wanted to create like a town or a village or a city of our own. And I thought
do
this was going to be
recall.
the first step for that.
It's possible.
Alasta
knight
thinks the thought's not
titles.
without merit.
Isn't it going to force us to comply with the existing system?
But our
But it's
people
a
need to live
risk.
somewhere. So are you saying you don't think it's a good idea?
I don't
Tess?
know. I don't
mean,
think we have enough information yet.
Well, let's go get it, because this is the thing that I've been hoping for a
So,
number of years.
what did we know about who was throwing the ball? What the purpose of the ball was? Like, what was on the invite?
Okay, so Twilight Company has come off of a great success. You achieved a military victory over a far superior force through cunning and tactics and just an amazing amount of luck. And it is recognition of that great victory that this ball ostensibly honors. And you haven't really had this kind of recognition before. Like you have Twilight Company has been lauded and praised by the public, but the nobility tends to treat them as kind of a disposable tool mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Except that your continuing pattern of success has made it increasingly difficult for the nobility to ignore you.
Right.
And now that you've won this seemingly impossible victory, which I'm going to ask you about in a second, the nobility can no longer ignore you. And the king sent you this invitation personally. So, about this victory that you had, what kind of military campaign, what kind of victory was it? I can help you fill in some details. Just toss out an idea.
So we're a mercenary company. Maybe the kingdom is in desperate straits, like maybe they were losing in the battle. Usually they would love to field like their nobles and their knights and the soldiers that they control directly, and then they would use us normally as like cannon fodder. But maybe they're losing, and they're losing so badly that and our company keeps getting victories after victory. So they have to rely on us more and more. And along with that, like we've had more influence and more power. And so finally in this last battle, we were like essentially sent on like a suicide mission, but
Maybe
somehow
to
we broke through.
storm an impregnable fortress that nobody could conquer.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
I
given
think
like
we can add to that with, one of our strengths last time is we started to explore the sewers. So maybe understanding the underlying layout of the Undercity was part of the key to our victory.
Aha. This is one of the things that distinguishes Twilight Company. You think about things from multiple perspectives, that you're not just nobles who charge into battle on their steeds hoping to win. Like you've witnessed a knightly charge and you're not impressed. Like sometimes they'll get things accomplished, but mostly they'll just waste time and energy and lives. And the nobles who actually go out to fight typically just total waste of time. Like they don't even get into the battle. They lead from the back, and then they send, the conscripts and the foot soldiers and the mercenaries and the knights. Everybody goes before the nobles go. But Twilight Company is not afraid to take those risks, is not afraid to go into the vanguard, and you will take, just as Jen was saying, you will take unorthodox methods and go through sewers and cave systems and look for weaknesses in fortresses that others wouldn't know to look for. You
yeah, and
are
we
very
employ
familiar with the sewer system under the capital, in fact. If you recall, from last year, Tessa's first act upon the group defeating this monster was to charge off into the sewers to continue the fight, to continue exploring. And I think it's fair to say that, she did a little bit. Over the years, she has learned more and more about the sewers. At this point, you can basically use the sewers to get anywhere from anywhere in the city, given enough time. And part of that is bravery. Most people won't go into the sewers because they are ancient and haunted and monster infested. But in your experience, it's not
They're
that bad.
cozy.
Yeah, like they stink and they're low ceiling, but like as long as you're brave and smart, you can get through pretty safely. So let's say that in storming this impregnable fortress, you found a secret entrance that no one knew about. And a few of you, a specialized strike team, went in, opened up the gate, so that was it. The fortress probably had only a few defenders at that point, like because they didn't feel like they needed more. And you just took it with hardly any fight at all, which is a
we
remarkable achievement.
we also employ dark magic via Egog and like the shadowy arts via Klack. So
Mhm.
like we
Yeah,
have a lot
nobody
of different
expects
tools.
the garden gnome.
Perhaps Alasta even passed them a key piece of information that helped them figure out this victory of theirs.
That could very well be. Anyway, the point is that you're combining efforts from various skill points and various perspectives, and that is the key to your success. Okay. So that's what the party is about. Somehow you storm this impregnable fortress. The nobles are like, I don't know how that happened, but it did. And the whoever pushed for you to be sent on this mission clearly wanted you to die, but you did not. And now you are victims of your own success.
From my position near the punch bowl, am I hearing any conversation about the company?
I would like you to make a perception test, please.
I would love to. Roll
So that's
20.
just going to be a d20 roll. You add your perception modifier, and your target is 10.
Okay, and my perception modifier is actually -1.
Klack was not built for
No.
overhearing people. Klack
8.
was built for stabbing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Klack is
8.
Klack is just admiring the flowers.
You overhear kind of like non-consequential kind of stuff like, oh, Tess Tourmaline, look how beautiful she is. And oh my, Drudge is even more handsome in real
What
life
an
than I
emo orc.
expected.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Some people are, and they're talking about, the impossibility of overcoming the Iron Dragon Fortress, and how could they possibly have made their way inside? And they're like, wow, Drudge must be magic. That's the only way he can make that happen. Nobody mentions Egog, by the way. I'm just pointing that out. they don't like talking about him.
Yeah, he complicates the story.
He
I would
does.
say that from his vantage point in the corner, or possibly on a balcony if he can find one, Egog is looking around for anybody who he knows is, if there are any clusters of people who are unfriendly to the company, and if he spots any of them talking to each other, he would like to use his eavesdrop ability to listen in on them.
I would like you to make a perception test, please.
Okay.
And your target number is also 10.
That is a success. 14 on the dot.
Right. All right. Yes, you do pick out a couple of council members. You could tell because they're wearing the togas.
I can listen to them for 1 minute.
One of them is clearly a woman. She is wearing the toga without an undershirt, but the sash is covering the other half of her chest, which is kind of a bold fashion choice, just contextually speaking, for the council. And she is just very put out about the Twilight Company's success. And she says, oh, that ghastly orc is here. It's just spoiling our fine collection of worthy folk. I wish the king would stop favoring him. And it is a little bit like that. But the person that she's speaking with says, now, my lady, do not worry. Just wait for midnight. We'll see what happens. Does not sound good.
No, that does not.
No.
So what does your eavesdrop ability do? Exactly.
It is a spell of the divination school, and it
Okay.
says concentration up to 1 minute. Choose a point that you can see within long range. For the duration, you can hear as if you were standing in that space.
Okay. So you start painting some bloody sigils onto your hand or your arm, casting your magic. Would you like to describe some vile way in which your magic functions?
Well, my divination magic is actually not dark magic, so that one is
I know, but
okay.
This is
We'll
the Shadow of the
get to
Demon Lord
we'll get to the
setting,
dark
so
stuff later.
magic is
So the eavesdrop actually would his focus for his divination magic is actually the goggles.
okay.
So
Yeah.
what he does there is he puts them on and closes his eyes and just thinks about
His
listening
eye.
very hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe mutters to himself a little bit while he's casting.
The goggles start glowing slightly, which is only obvious if you know to look for it. And one eye is obviously glowing brighter than the other one because the other eye isn't a real eye. Do you have a prosthetic, or is it just an open hole, or is the mouse still living there?
Does not have a glass eye. Does not wear a patch. No, the mouse is not. The mouse is in my pocket.
Okay. Yeah. He has the reputation as mouse eye because he had a mouse stuffed in his eye socket for a while. I will say occasionally the mouse likes to run up and just hide in your eye socket, and it's just a little comfy.
Yep, sure. We're both okay with it.
And the mouse is pure snowy white, so it's easy to tell when the mouse is not clean. Right? So yeah, no problem. Okay, so you cast your spell, and it seems to you like you're standing right there next to the people. You're also standing next to the buffet table, but you're standing next to the people. They start talking about the council being split against Twilight Company. That 50% of the council, led by Hankaris, of course, are advocating for Twilight Company, for elevating Drudge to knighthood and bestowing upon him lands. Some of them want to make sure that Drudge and Tess get married in order to make this happen. But like that's a minority opinion among the council. Like largely 50% of the council is just like, we want put them somewhere so they'll be happy and go away and stop challenging us and becoming more popular than us. That's what they say. The other half of the council is very much against them. They're like, and some of the voices say they're a rising threat. The people are behind them, and they're becoming more popular than the king. When she, the councilwoman, says this, the other guy is like, don't say that. That's dangerous. Don't say that. The king hears you, or one of the king's ears hears you. There could be trouble. And she pales a little bit and then just kind of trails off. And that's pretty much the end of the conversation. So what you gathered from that is that the council is split 50-50, almost straight down the line, with 50% who support Twilight Company and their advancement, with some like reservations and contingencies and things like that, and 50% who are dead set against them. Gone, exiled, executed, whatever, gone.
I'm going to walk under the table, which does not require ducking, but I'm assuming there's a tablecloth.
You are very short. It's true.
And yes, I am. And I am going to break out my cards and cast a quick augury.
Excellent.
And
so, let everybody know what augury does.
Concentration up to 1 minute. When you
Mhm.
concentrate, use your divination tools to gain an insight into the future. At the end of this minute, I may ask the DM a single yes/no question.
Okay.
DM must answer truthfully.
Hmm.
So the yes/no question, I pull out my cards that I'm going to use to do a quick fortune casting. And the question I'm going to ask you is,
All right, hang on 1 second.
okay,
So this is my tarot deck. I have several actually. This is just one of them.
mm-hmm.
That's the 7 of Wands. That's the first card you pull.
Okay.
Okay. Second card you pull is the Death card.
Yeah.
And no, I did not stack these. This is just me drawing them.
Reminder, death card doesn't mean death always.
mean
So
death,
this
it
is
means-
shadow of the demon lord. So
Yeah.
probably
And
Sometimes it
then
means death.
and then you draw the Wheel of Fortune card.
Oh
oh,
boy.
Okay. Ask your question.
Is someone here planning to murder Drudge at midnight?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitive yes.
Okay. Thank you. And I will start making my way over to Drudge to relay this information to him as I can. That I realize that may take a while if I'm trying to stay.
And what time is it?
It is getting on toward midnight. Like, it's not immediately midnight, but it is soon. And how would Egog like to get over there? Just openly, or are you going to try and sneak over there?
I'm sorry. How long did you say it is till midnight?
About 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna show the cards just so that everyone can appreciate. These are the Arcana cards that are tied to the iOS game of the same name, and they are gorgeous, highly recommended.
Hmm.
If I've got 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to try to move unobtrusively. I'm not necessarily hiding, but I'm not going to take my time either because we need to skedaddle or at least get ready.
Okay. So I'm going to need you to attempt an agility challenge roll, please. You're basically sneaking over there. I don't know if you have any spells or anything to assist you in this effort. If you do, let me know. Otherwise, tell me what your result is. And you're going to have one Bane because, well, you have this dark aura that follows you around, and that's not just a reputation.
Well, I had a 20 on the die.
Oh,
and
good.
that takes me down to a 15. Yeah, 15 plus 19 total.
All right. You get over there, okay. Drudge and Tess are in the flow of the party. You're doing your thing. You're emulating your role. You're being met with a number of people who want to hear about your exploits, or they want to dance with you. It seems pretty clear that Drudge is getting more attention than Tess is. Like Tess,
that's the way Tess prefers it.
you're the tactical mastermind of Twilight Company. You are the fiercest warrior in the group. Most of the people who come to talk to you are like, hey, would you like to dance with me? Wouldn't you be honored? And like, hey, you're looking so lovely. Where did you get that dress? Do you wear dresses regularly? You know, kind of benign, sexist, kind of boys club sort of attention. Drudge is getting a lot of attention from both men and women who want to hear about his tales, who praise his valor and his courage and his goodness and his beauty, and he gets not marriage proposals, but like suggestions that he might consider courting someone, that kind of thing. I don't know how Tess feels about all of that. I'm just saying that that's what happens.
Are people largely just kind of ignoring Alasta since she's just kind of
Yes.
there? I
Well,
figured.
okay. There are folk. Okay, this party is mostly nobility,
Of course.
and the nobles have a very messy hang-up relationship with Alasta. Many of them you have seen at your bordello in the past. Some of those folk are very embarrassed to see you. Some of those folk are very excited to see you, but are kind of trying to hide it. Some of the folk who are very excited are also drunk and unable to hide it. So, like, the attention that Alasta is getting is largely like um, fawning praise and some kind of like, oh, I can't believe someone like that is here. Like, it's like there's a certain amount of like distaste for the low-born, like Drudge, for instance. A lot of the negative attention that Drudge is getting at the Revel has to do with him being a peasant, essentially, an upstart, up-jump peasant. And Alasta is solidly middle class, right? You perform you provide an important service that a lot of people take advantage of, particularly nobles. Okay, but they're still slumming it when they're spending time with you. That's upper class. Upper class may be slightly lowered because you're not a strictly traditional nobleman's daughter, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
and our
like
family went through some hard times as well, right?
that's correct. That's
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
They kind of wavered around that upper middle class element as well. Oh, this is a good question. Yes.
Yes.
How is your family doing? Have times been good to them or bad to them? If you have an idea, that's great. If you want to roll for it, that's also cool.
I think part of the reason I am being well behaved is because my success with Twilight Company has kept my family in better graces. And therefore I have to kind of hold it together.
Excellent. And how do they feel about that? That so much of their success is based on
I don't know that
and
they really know. I don't know if they have even enough awareness to really recognize it necessarily.
Okay.
I think it's one of those, they think that they've done it on their own and, and that's just fine.
So what I'm
But
hearing is
there is this awkward tension of knowing I have to maintain a certain standard of behavior or risk.
so what I'm hearing is they're oblivious and ignorant of your efforts to help them.
Yes.
And
But also all the
certainly not
responsibility is
appreciative.
on me for keeping them aloft. Otherwise,
Okay. Is Tess
tragedy.
an only child? Like, is Tess the heir of your noble house?
I believe I am the heir.
Okay.
Yes, I
think
am an
that's correct.
heiress. So that much, yes.
All right. So you've gotten certain communications from your family asking about increasingly loud inquiries about, getting married, forming an alliance with another family, things like that. How have you received those? Have you brushed them aside, ignored them, sent polite?
It's the polite dismissal of like just gently pushing things off to I'm very, very, very busy at the moment. I'll have to address that when I have time, kind of
Okay. They
situation.
haven't taken to calling you an old maid yet, but they're concerned.
I'm like 22.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, you should have been married like 5 years ago.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
It's silly,
And I
and
think
you
in terms of the
pushed it aside.
sibling situation, I think there probably was a cousin or two who were
Okay.
close like siblings, but not actual
Gotcha.
siblings. Or if there were, they're kind of off being wards somewhere else.
Perfect. Okay. So, Egog, you stealthily make your way over to Drudge and Tess, who are having this attention. Apologies for the long aside, but I think it was important context.
Sure.
And it's easier to approach Tess. You could try and approach Drudge if you want. It's easier to approach Tess because there are fewer people around her. There are more people around Drudge. Like Drudge is the center of a small mob of people. What would you prefer to do?
I think it probably makes sense to go to Tess first
Okay.
because she is closer, and if there is a suitor talking to her, I will do my best scowly goblin face, dark sorcerer bit, and just be like, "Excuse me, I really need to speak with Mistress Tourmaline for a moment."
Okay. So yes, there is a suitor who is doing the polite overture thing. Like he's not expecting that this is actually going to go anywhere, but he feels like he has to. And when he sees the goblin, he pales, possibly pisses himself, and then leaves.
Man, I didn't even have to hench him. It takes off. Anyway, okay. So, okay. Tess, we need to get Drudge out of here. When they elevate him at midnight, it may be on a gallows. Somebody here is planning to murder him.
Well, let's go then.
At midnight. So yeah, grab him. Let's go.
Sounds like Tess has been waiting for this all.
Absolutely. Any excuse.
I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
We just got here.
All right. The bells start tolling, even as you tell Tess that. The bells of midnight.
Bong.
I'm going to
Bong.
be dashing over to grab Drudge.
All right, so you're pushing your way through the people around Drudge. Okay. It takes a while. Why don't you go ahead and make a strength challenge roll, or you could do agility if you want to try and be more gracious about it.
Strength is more my style.
Perfect.
Can I throw some intimidation in there to try and get people out of my way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
How would you like me to do this?
It would just be strength, or it would be will. In this case, strength is fine.
Okay. So that is a 16 on the dice. I have a 13 strength.
Great.
So
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You just kind of like shove people out of the way, elbowing aside these useless noble scions who never fought a day in their lives. And you get to Drudge just as the 12th peal rings out. All eyes turn to the grand staircase where the aged king of Caracas appears. Dressed in a radiant golden robe, he is a very old man. You could like he's stooped and he's walking slowly just down the stairs. His beard is scraggly and twisted. It's obviously they've tried to braid it into something like passable, but it doesn't quite work. It's this weird kind of spiral hanging off of his face. It's unsettling to look at. And he says, Drudge, captain of the Twilight Company, the man of the hour.
Your Majesty?
Come forward, my champion.
Drudge
And
shoots Tess a
people
quick
part.
look.
And Tess is, nope.
Drudge like just leans towards her just slightly, and he whispers, I have to do this. Go find Klack. Take care of whatever it is. Make sure this goes off well.
Well, it's going to be your head that's going off well.
I'm sorry. We've come so far. We've waited so long for this moment. And he's just going to start like walking off.
I'm going to try and trip him.
Ooh. Okay.
While this is happening, I think Alasta did not follow when Tess like bolted. She's going to kind of like try to slip into the crowd a little bit. and kind of
Find a
work her way
position of
around. Yeah.
find a position of safety and unobtrusiveness.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere where she can keep an eye on things and maybe.
Alasta's real good at this
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over the years, the Twilight Company has come to see that Alasta is kind of like a spy of some sort. Like she's just very stealthy and quick on her feet and quick with her mind. Anyway, so thank you for that contribution earlier about the shadow spreading. That's what's going to happen right here. Okay. So, um, Tess, you said you're going to try and trip Drudge.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to give you a bane on this, the one that Aaron sent in. I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
make it a straight up attack. Drudge, you're not wearing your armor, right?
Yep, not.
So it's just going to be a strength attack against your agility. So Tess,
Okay.
go ahead and make an attack.
Can I throw manipulation onto that?
What do you mean exactly? Be more specific.
I gain a boon if I'm trying to coerce, intimidate, or manipulate.
From your dominating soul, because you were born under the sign of the dominating one. And yes, you are extra good at coercing people. I will give you a boon. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And what is your agility, Drudge?
10.
10. Okay. Drudge is no more or less dexterous than most people.
Huh. So I don't get an opposed check, huh? All right.
Nope.
It's a 33.
Yeah.
Okay, remember when you're doing boons, you only add the highest roll of the various boons that are involved. So
Right, I only rolled one.
Okay,
boon.
I just want to make that clear. Okay, so
Yeah.
Tess easily trips Drudge. Drudge, you fall down in front of all of the nobles, in front of the king, in front of the council, in front of Alasta, in front of a very surprised goblin, in front of a statue of a clockwork cupid that probably shouldn't be judging you.
It's like a nightmare.
And you fall down, boom, right to the ground. And a hushed silence just falls across the room. Tess, you're standing there. And the king says, "What is the meaning of this?"
I think Drudge will get up and he's just gonna shoot Tess like a dark look because he definitely knows that it was her. She didn't try to like hide it or anything, and she whispered that. And he's going to try to use some sort of like persuasion or like charm to just make light of the situation and just talk about, oh, he's like, the moment is so large and he's so nervous, you know. In his heart, he's still just a clumsy farmer boy, and to forgive him.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a will test, please.
Okay, Will. So roll a d20. That's a 16. Do I add my modifier plus 2?
Yes.
Okay, so that is an 18.
Okay. You pass things over. A soft chuckle emerges, possibly from Councilman Hankerus, you know, and then people start chuckling a little bit, and then there's some applause, and everything seems to be good again. Tess, you cannot help but feel this sinking feeling in your chest.
I do not like this, Sam. I am.
Like you've done what you can. You pushed past the bounds of what is acceptable in noble society, but you still did it, and it's still like you feel like, I don't know, you're not used to feeling helpless. Shall
Yeah.
we say? Tess is not used to defeat. Tess is not used to feeling like she can't solve the situation. But Drudge appears to be pulling hard. Are you going to let him go?
No, I mean, is anybody else trying to stop him with our group that knows that he's running off to his death? Nobody else is trying to. No.
Alasta seems to have disappeared into the crowd. Klack hasn't moved. I would suggest that Klack is very loyal to Tess specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Like-
Klack is seeing Tess apparently attack Drudge, but seems to be unharmed herself.
Yeah,
But Klack is scanning now the crowd to see if there's somebody moving to attack them
okay,
and
there are
therefore
some. Yeah, go ahead.
needing bodyguard.
There are some royal guards kind of moving toward Tess. So I would suggest that maybe Klack's attention is on that situation.
Mhm.
Like maybe you're lining up exactly where to stab them to kill them in one shot.
It's odd that this Cupid is actually armed with a crossbow, but there you go.
I love that.
And it is sighting.
Beautiful.
Okay. That leaves Egog. So Tess tripped Drudge, and like people are glaring at her like she did something totally unacceptable. But like
I wasn't that. Was I that obvious about it? I wasn't trying.
well,
to
you
be.
tripped him so well. Like you just and
Like-
he went right down.
You may
Yeah.
have thrown him a little ways.
So
Yeah.
people are kind of
Skirts
looking at
they get in the way.
people are
I'm just
looking at
saying.
Tess like,
Okay.
like I
is-
can't
This is why we
believe-
don't wear them.
Is there anybody nearby who is obviously armed, or anybody who I know is Yeah.
Well, there are
anybody I could
guards.
plausibly.
There are
Uh,
guards approaching.
Is there anybody I could plausibly accuse of being an assassin? Somebody who I know is unfriendly to the company.
Well, there were those two that you eavesdropped on, but you don't know if they're armed because you did like a clairvoyance or a clairaudience thing, right? So that you could hear them, but not necessarily see them up close. So,
All right.
yeah, you're just seeing like a sea of nobles. You're not sure who's against you and who's not. There's Councilman Hankeris. You know him. But as far as you know, he's loyal and
Probably don't.
on your
Yeah, probably
side.
not. Yeah. Okay. While everybody's looking at Tess, I'm going to take the opportunity to get down very close to Drudge and say, Drudge, somebody is plotting to kill you right now. We need to go.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna trip me again. I was like,
What?
what am I gonna do this time?
Don't worry, it's just hazing. It's a
I was
tradition.
thinking about picking a random person and yelling assassin and throwing a spell at them just to.
Oh,
But if
Look,
if there's no
Egog.
plausible targets, that's
Egog, I have to do this for all of us. You saw how close it was during that last siege of the fortress. We almost didn't make it despite our surprise.
we did it once. We can do it again, but not if you're dead.
you hear and
Well,
feel
you
this,
stop
this
them.
like heartbeat sound just like resonating through the room as though only you can hear and feel it. Drudge, your heart is beating steadily and strongly.
Have I felt that before?
Oh, yes. It means
Oh,
that you are
interesting.
on the path toward your destiny.
Egog, can you feel it? Destiny? I can.
Destiny is not necessarily a good thing. I mean, destinies are sometimes bad.
Egog, go to Tess and Klack. I know you can stop whatever it is that you think is going to happen. But I need to be knighted. We need those lands. I need this title. We haven't failed so far, but the first time we do, those nobles are going to throw us down into the mud and we'll never rise above. that again. We'll never get here again.
I don't know what else to say to you. I mean, be careful. We'll watch your back.
You've been watching my back for all these years. Tonight will be no different.
I mean, I can't stop you. I'm a quarter your size.
How does the
I
spell?
mean, I would never.
How does the spell?
Sitting on you
compel
wouldn't
work?
stop you. So if you're determined, yeah, well, I'll do my best to protect you.
All right. Let me answer Allie's question. You asked about the spell compel.
Yes.
Okay, so compel. You cast it on a person, and let's see. Let me just look this up specifically. Oh yeah.
Here, I've got it, Eric. If you want to keep doing stuff, I can throw it in chat.
I cannot open chat.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Basically, when you cast it on somebody, if you overcome their will, they have to do what you want them to do for up to 1 minute, basically. So it is like dominate person, more or less.
Okay.
Do you want to try and cast that spell?
How subtle is it? Like,
No one's paying attention to you.
all right. I see where this is going. I am going to try to save Drudge from himself. And so
Destiny.
I'm going to cast Compel.
Okay. I'm going to need you to make an intellect attack against Drudge's will.
All right.
Drudge.
Drudge. So far, all his attacks are from his own party.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I know you guys are just trying to save him.
Your destiny is in reach.
I know. I didn't get it.
You started to cast a spell and you found this incredibly strong will just reflecting your efforts around Drudge. He is so driven and so pushed toward this precipice.
That's our emo. That's our guy.
Like, it surprises you. I don't know if Alasta has tried to enspell Drudge before.
No.
This is super strong, like far from what you would expect a normal person to be.
She's definitely shocked.
Drudge, you start to ascend the staircase toward the king. King pulls out his golden sword. Kneel, champion of the realm.
Drudge turns around to glance at the crowd. He's gonna give them like a little wave and a smile, a charming, reassuring smile. I do want to glance like up in the rafters or in the shadows if I do spot anything.
No,
Because it's not like I'm trying to get killed. I just really think we do need this opportunity.
Yeah. Tess, can I cast Life Sense?
sure.
It lets me know the location of any living creatures in the area. Those creatures cannot become hidden from me for the duration.
Yep. All right. So the room is full of people. You could sense Drudge's life force very strongly. Like, you've clearly sensed him before with this spell specifically, and you know what he feels like, what his essence tastes like, shall we say. Like, he just and it's kind of reassuring to you because he's been your companion for many, many years, and he's always on your side. He has always supported you every step of the way. Unless things contradicted his own path, in which case, it's a little more complicated. But like, he has been your ally for all this time.
Right.
And you do sense additional life forces up in the mezzanine, sort of like overseeing boxes above the hall.
Okay.
And you sense them, and it's just a little bit too late. The king says, I hereby confer upon this man the mantle of traitor to the realm. And crossbowmen stand up from those boxes, pointing crossbows down.
Tess is gonna bolt up and mom arm Drudge.
I think Drudge is gonna act before that, and he's gonna, just spin around and try to grab the king's sword arm and take the king hostage.
Okay.
Oh, even better.
So,
do we want to break here?
This would be a good time to take our break.
Yep. And then it's all mayhem.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Those
damn nobles away.
As we take our hostage, the king.
See you then.
And we're back. The shadow has fallen. Thank you for your contribution. Do note that you can spend more on incentives. It all goes to benefit Children's Hospital and the Miracle Network. And you just see us. We will suffer so that children can be healed. That's what the point of Extra Life is. So thank you for all of your contributions.
Boons, and we could actually survive.
All right, fine. All right, fine. You can also donate to help the players. That's fine. I don't know.
Too good
people
for
are
everyone.
people are into weird things. I'm not here to kink shame. Okay, let's go. So
for anyone who's just joining us, we are playing tonight for Extra Life.
Correct.
Which is an awesome organization.
And we are playing Shadow of the Demon Lord, which is the dark, wild imaginings of Rob Schwalb, good friend of mine. Here's to you, Rob. I love this game, and I'm so glad that you created it, and I'm going to inflict it upon my players in this battle right now.
Boons. Remember, you can contribute to boons.
Brief reminder about how combat works in Shadow of the Demon Lord. You have fundamentally
Why would we need a
choices.
combat reminder, Eric?
Oh, I mean, all those crossbowmen are going to loose their quarrels at you. So you have two options. You can either take a fast turn or a slow turn. A fast turn is one action. Action as in, like, I attack, I move, I cast a spell, etc. Slow turn is you do two things. You can't attack twice, but like a slow turn is I move and then I attack, or I draw a weapon and then I attack, right? So fast turns will go first, slow turns will go second. PCs always go first. Every PC who takes a fast turn goes first, and then every enemy who takes a fast turn. Then every PC who took a slow turn, then every enemy who took a slow turn. Okay, so I am doing things analog, baby. So, Drudge, fast or slow?
I mean, I think it's got to be fast.
Yes, fast or slow?
I'm thinking. Come back.
You can think about it. Alasta, fast or slow?
I will go slow.
Slow. Klack, fast
I'm gonna
or
be
slow?
slow as well, by the way.
Okay.
Fast.
I have to move.
And Egog.
Slow as well.
Okay. The enemies are taking a fast turn. Okay, so we're going to start with either Drudge or Klack. PCs can always determine who goes first. So
I'd let
which of you
Drudge
would
go.
like to act
Drudge
first?
is in the immediate. Let Drudge go. And Klack
So the
will
king
react
is
away.
there. He's wielding a sword, a little shakily.
Yeah, so I think.
And you're up
if
on the
that's-
stairs, separated from the rest of your party.
Oh, I see. So Tess is not there? I thought Tess ran out.
Tess is
also.
not right next to you, no. Tess is separated by about 1 movement increment.
Okay. So I think what Drudge is going to do is he's, like I said, going to whip around, try to take the king hostage, maybe with his own sword. Like he's going to try to get his own sword from him.
You're going to try and grab the king, or you're going to try and disarm the king? Because you said fast turn, so you can only do one thing.
Let's grab the king.
Okay. So, grabbing, you're fundamentally rolling an attack roll, and it's going to be like against his agility. So,
Oh wait. Oh, that is a nat 20.
wow. All right.
Let's go.
You can also
Sucks
grab
to
with
be the
your
king.
agility, but your strength is better than your agility. So
yeah, so it'd be a 25 total.
Okay. Sure enough, you grab the king. Okay. Klack.
So we have
Drudge has seized the king. So you grabbed his arm, basically, that the sword is in.
So basically, I want to like grab him like hostage and use him as a shield for crossbow people.
I
Human
will
shield.
shoot.
Human shield.
Human shielding the king. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will
yeah,
and
right.
I will shoot the closest crossbowman.
Okay.
So this is an attack roll.
Okay. That's an agility attack roll because
Okay.
you're using a ranged weapon.
And let's see.
So, as I understand it, Klack has a built-in crossbow, or maybe it's a bow. I'm not sure.
It's a built-in punch dagger. So
Okay, the
we'll just say
crossbowmen
that
are
the
up above you.
Yeah, so we'll say the crossbow that he's carrying for his disguise is 1 bolt and he's got 1 shot.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So it's just a disguise thing. So he's going to do a roll 20. He does, however, always get a boon on attack rolls.
Right.
And
With
1 die 6
weapons.
damage with weapon attack. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 15 and
Oh, that's
3.
definitely going to hit.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll some damage. The
So
crossbow. Let me just
what do you want?
double check this. So you're saying that your Cupid was carrying a crossbow? That was part of your
Yeah, that was part of the Cupid disguise instead of a bow.
crossbow,
It was
not a
crossbow.
bow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So
that
the
was the crossbow.
crossbow
I
on
mentioned it
itself,
last time.
on its
Vince
own, does
crossbow.
2d6 damage. So you're going to roll 2d6 for the crossbow plus 1d6 for your warrior levels. So it's going to be a total of 3d6 damage.
Okay. 11.
Okay. Also, the archer, the crossbowman up there, has no idea that this attack is coming.
Okay.
So he is surprised.
No one suspects the Cupid statue.
Okay, so because he's an assassin, when you harm a surprised creature, it must make a strength save.
Yep.
Or take damage equal to its health.
To its health, yeah. Fortunately for him, he did succeed on the strength save. Unfortunately for him, 11 damage is still enough to kill him. So your bolt goes through his throat, blood spurts down onto the nobles, who start shrieking in terror, and that crossbowman goes down.
Okay. And that's it because it was a fast action.
All right. A number of crossbowmen loose quarrels bolts at Drudge. Here we go. Oof. Okay, so one of them rolled a natural 20.
Oh, nice.
No.
Which is only a 21, but that still beats your defense, which is 10.
Yep. Well,
by 5, which is what a crit is. If you get over 20 and you beat the difficulty number by 5 or more, that's a crit. So if I wrote crit on your character sheet, that's what I mean.
Do I get
Fortunately,
any
these
advantage for having the king hostage?
not in this case. That was a really, really good shot. Like it makes your defense a little bit better because they gotta avoid hitting the king.
He is my armor.
The crossbow bolt does still deal 7 points of damage to you.
Kalash sends aid. We have a boon.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you,
You
Kalash.
flash back.
man.
You flash back. Okay. Whoever is going to use this boon, there's going to be an intercession that I bring about. Okay. The second attack is going to be a 17, which is still going to hit Drudge.
Oh, wait.
So though you were holding the king, Drudge, you are still much larger than the king. Like this is like trying to hold up a small shield against these crossbow bolts. And that's going to deal 5 points of damage to you.
Oh, wait.
Okay. Next attack. That crossbow coral is just going to sink into the floor at your feet. Oh, another crit. Oh, no. That is going to be 12 points of piercing damage.
What is a
Drudge
triggered
is-
action?
Drudge is just soaking these. A triggered action is basically a bonus action in Shadow of the Demon Lord terms. So it can trigger based on a particular thing that happens. Like you take an action or you take damage or something like that. So it can happen on your turn. It doesn't have to happen on your turn. Okay. Oh my God, another hit. Okay. That's going to be a total of 11 points of piercing damage. Drudge is just
Still up.
And these
just
people all managed to miss the king, huh?
tanking these crossbow. Well, like I said, Drudge is like 3 times the size of the king. So Drudge is a big target.
It says I have something called catch my breath action or triggered action to heal my healing rate once per
right.
rest, but I don't know.
So that's got to be during your own turn.
Oh wait.
It's basically a second wind for a fighter in D&D. Another bolt is going to strike you, not as well. That's only going to do 3 points of piercing damage. Are you still
that
up?
was it. No, I had one
Okay.
left.
Drudge. And how many bolts hit you, man? Like 5?
That was like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Drudge
Maybe 4.
soaked like 4 crossbow bolts. And then one finally put him down. You do go down with the satisfaction of hearing the king screaming in pain from a crossbow bolt that is now in his shoulder. But you still go down. Okay. That's the crossbow. The crossbowmen, there are 2 left, and they are going to fire at Tess. Okay, it looks like one of them is going to hit Tess for 7 points of piercing damage. The other bolt goes into a noble who is standing near Tess, who collapses shrieking in agony.
There goes a good party. Oh, well.
Yes. Okay. Now we're on to slow turns. That's Tess, Egog, and Alasta all took slow turns, so you can choose your own order there.
Unless anybody objects, I'll go first. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to cast the spell Question on the king.
On the king. Okay.
On the king. And I in the end, my goal here is to try to discredit him in front of the court and ask him, why are you doing this? And I can read you what it does.
Yep.
One creature within short range that can see, hear, and understand you. Ask the target a question and make an intellect attack roll against its will. On its success, it must answer truthfully and to the best of its knowledge. Attack roll 20+, it also becomes frightened.
Okay. Make a roll. This is an enchantment spell, so it's not strictly a dark magic spell, but
It is not.
enchantment, as you may be aware from years of actual play experience with watching Erik Scott de Bie running games, enchantment is the darkest and evilest form of magic. Except for several schools in this game, which you will probably find
Well,
out
we
about
may be
later.
busting some of those out if
Go ahead, buddy. What'd you roll?
My total score is actually, is it too late for me to drop an augury and get advantage on that roll? I'm sorry, not augury.
It is.
Epiphany. Sorry.
Is Epiphany like another spell that you have to cast?
It's basically I
before?
can give myself advantage on anything, including attack rolls.
I think that it is too late, but you can spend a boon that somebody graciously bought for us if somebody did that.
Do I know what my my target is? My target number?
No.
I've got 9. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and spend that boon.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
It gets me up to 11.
The king is not particularly willful.
Oh.
And that does indeed hit. What question do you ask the king?
I asked the king, why are you doing this? And he must answer truthfully and to the best of his ability.
He is a corrupt traitor to the realm, he says.
That was not what I was expecting. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. And
thank you for the boon. Please help out these species. They might need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was Egog. Well, that was the action you took, and then you're gonna move or do another minor action.
For the second half of my action, I'm going to take cover in the crowd. Move, so the crossbowman can't shoot at me without hitting the.
I would like you to make a agility test, please, and I'll just move on to one of the other players while you're doing that. So, Tess or Alasta?
17.
17. Okay, you're pretty well hidden. Tess or Alasta?
I will take mine. I'll run up to Drudge, and I would like to
All right, so you can attempt to run up to Drudge, but there are a lot of people in the way. Specifically, like there are guards that have started to move into an intercept course.
Yeah.
Because remember, Drudge pulled away from you and then went up these stairs to meet up with the king.
Oh, I know. Well, I want to try and get through to Drudge.
Let me point out one thing. You did cast Life Sense. Your Life Sense is still active, right? Because it lasts for a minute. You can tell Drudge is still alive.
Right, I'm trying to get to Drudge to be able to help heal.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay, so there are 2 guards in your way immediately. You can move up and attempt to do something to one of them if you like.
I mean, yeah, let's oh gosh.
The king is screaming, take them hostage, take them prisoner.
Yeah, this isn't gonna go well.
Maybe time to break contact.
Yeah. We may need to just get out and then come back for Drudge, which I don't want to do. Feels so wrong.
I mean, there are a lot of crossbowmen up there. There are 8. Klack killed one of them, so there's 7
it's easier
left.
to get past 3 guards in a prison than it is to get past this many crossbows. What's the way out look like?
Well, Alasta, as I mentioned earlier, you know intimately the ways into and out of various locations. The palace has half a dozen secret exits, and you can easily get to one through a servant's door nearby. So if Tess and Egog and or Klack need to flee, you can shepherd them to safety.
All right. I will.
So Tess, you're looking around for an exit. Okay, not an action, just letting you hold for a second to consider. Alasta, what are we gonna do?
They might kill Drudge if we leave him, though. That was the plan.
Alasta
The king is shouting about how they must stand trial and be convicted. So maybe there'd be a delay.
Yeah, okay. If there's going to be a trial, then we should get out.
Yeah, from where Alasta is, kind of like having drifted behind people, just kind of a quick little motion. And then what she's going to do then is move toward the nearest like door that can lead into kind of that back
there's a
ways and
servant's
stuff.
door that you know connects to a secret passage to the sewers.
Hey,
Jen called it.
And then
It's really funny that Jen brought this up because this is something that I
Yeah.
was planning from the beginning, but then Jen brought it up and I'm like, yes.
and
Another
then
year, another sewer.
Okay, you're gonna lead them in that direction, Alasta?
yeah, I'm gonna move in that direction. My action though, I'm going to produce my little mouse skeleton friend.
Uh-huh.
I have a little animate mouse skeleton that she just kind of produces. And then she says to it, Savas, keep an eye on our pincushion friend. And then lets it go.
Okay. The mouse skeleton suddenly animates and it leaps off of your hand and scuttles off into the crowd. This is a legit thing that I rolled on a table in this book. I just want to point this out. Shadow of the Demon Lord is a great system. Anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It has a mouse skeleton. That's great.
Okay.
Egon's
All right.
jealous.
So you send off skeleton and then you open the servant's door. You see Tess is looking around. Tess, you're suddenly on a battlefield. Like, you weren't expecting to be in a battle, but here you are. You're not armored.
yes, I am.
Well,
I am.
okay. Well, you're not wearing your customary plate armor. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're not necessarily fully prepared for a full-on battle here. And you're looking around for an exit, and you see Alasta kind of waving you toward a servant's exit. And you know that Alasta has an intimate knowledge of secret passages in the city.
I'm already on the way.
Okay. So Tess is beating a tactical retreat. Okay. So that basically resolves this situation for the moment, unless Klack, like
Klack
nobody knew that you were there in disguise. Just
Of
suddenly
course.
this crossbow bolt flies out and kills one of the assassins.
That's how lucky this group always is. It's so strange. And then suddenly when people look over in that alcove, there's no statue there. It's gone. It's but who's going to remember whether there was a Cupid in the alcove or not? I mean,
someone probably took it home like a flower centerpiece.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Party favor.
You're down in the sewers. Like the whole group, except for Drudge, is down in the sewers. You have spent more time in these sewers than you would like, but you know them far better than most people in the city do, especially the King Guards. Like, there's no way they're going to find you. Alasta, where are you going to lead them? Are you going to lead them back to your inn?
That'd probably be for the best, I think. Just because that's probably the way that she knows the best.
Okay.
Do we have any concerns that there are going to be that you were at the event, people saw you at the event, and then you have disappeared?
For some, possibly.
We probably shouldn't stay there long, but it probably, they probably won't be. Yeah, we could probably duck through there and pick up, our equipment.
I think it's fair to
catch your breath.
say I think it's fair to say that Alasta probably has a safe house or two elsewhere in the city. It's just good for business. Is this something that you want to explain to the party?
I think so, yes. She'll say this in character just to differentiate that from me talking out of character in the third
In
person.
third person, I assume. Yes.
Alasta does have a few safe houses nearby. We could go to one of those. She'll lead the way. And she'll
Okay.
kind of
Safe house
hurry
is an
off.
interesting word. Okay.
So, you're heading through the sewers in that particularly dark, rundown part of the sewers that you don't usually go through. Like, it's not leading to anywhere particularly useful in the company's past. Like, you're not under any particular noble houses or any counting houses or under the watch barracks or anything. Um, you're kind of under a kind of ruined part of the city, and the sewers beneath reflect that reality. They are run down. None of the sewers are maintained, but these are particularly broken down and rotted over the ages.
Wait, I gotta stop real quick.
Yes.
We had somebody who just donated $1,000 to your Extra Life page, Eric.
What?
It is from
What?
Evan Powers.
Oh my gosh, Evan, thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank
That's amazing.
you.
Massive.
Thank you so much.
Evan.
That gets puppy cam, right?
Yeah, that gets like
Yeah.
every incentive.
Okay. So, Evan, I need to apologize to you because I've already created the puppy for the night because it's past your
Oh.
bedtime. I am
Uh-huh.
so sorry about this.
It's okay. We didn't
Eh.
actually put puppy cam in the incentives on the thing. That
Yeah.
was
It's
just
true. So,
Sorry.
instead, what would you like?
Oh no.
Would you like?
Oh no.
Would you like a TPK? Would you like a happy ending?
It's for the children.
It's for the children.
TPK for
My-
the kids.
My
Holy
particular
cow.
goal was $666, of course. But if we got a donation of $1,000, that blows that right out of the water. So
Yay!
I will tell you the good news. You are all bolstered against fear and hunger and horror, all of which is very important. But you might be operating at under the sword of Damocles or the sword of Evan, shall we say. So please keep watching to see if we get a communication from Evan about what he would like his terrible dark magic to unfurl.
Or puppies and rainbows for everybody. You know.
Puppies and rainbows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
thank
Thank you
you.
so
you know,
much.
The mission of the Children's Miracle Network is very important to me. I mentioned this last year. I live right next to Children's Hospital. It's literally like 3 blocks that way. And I hear the life flight helicopters over my house all the time. And we get our regular brochure about the activities of the life flight and stuff. And I just feel very connected to Children's Hospital.
Evan
Members
asks
of
if there are owl bears.
Oh my
If-
God, Evan, there
if-
could
if-
be. All right. All right.
He says, could a friendly owlbear appear?
A friendly owl bear.
man.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a Drudge in the arena against an owl.
Yes, yes, yes. A friendly
Method
owl bear
execution.
can appear.
Drudge is in like a pink
Money,
dress.
money talks, my friend. So you're
Down
in
in
the
the
sewer,
sewers.
and you hear a strange "wah" sort of sound.
Tess like readies a sword.
That's not usually the sort of sound
Ready
one
to
hears
charge
in the
in.
sewers.
It sounds a bit like a bird of some kind. Like maybe like a chicken, but not really. Like sort of a night bird, a wise, big-eyed night bird. Wah. Echoing down
After
the
years
halls
of
the sewer.
terrifying awfulness, we're just all
Yeah, you're all like weapons drawn. Here we
Bracing.
go.
Yeah.
we know where
Racing
the
Shields
heart is.
up.
That's a great idea. Yang Yang could play the owlbear.
yes.
Okay. Yang Yang. What is your owlbear named? I want to make sure I address you properly.
Let me think about this for a second because I want to honor the origin of this owlbear and
Is your
Evan's
owlbear
donation.
named Evan?
Maybe not because we're playing Shadow of the Demon Lord and terrible things might happen to this owlbear.
Okay.
So maybe I don't know, maybe his name is just Powers. For some reason that seems
Powers.
easier.
Powers.
Seems better.
Okay. Okay.
Howard's the
Um,
owlbear.
As you're going through the sewer, you see this creature. A head leans out from around a corner, and this head has a beak and looks just like an owl, really, except that it's too large to be an owl. Any kind of owl that you've encountered, maybe one of those great horned owls that you hear about and are probably supposed to protect. And it goes, and its eyes widen, and then
I think we've just discovered why no one comes to these parts of the sewers.
it goes back around the corner.
But then I think the mouse, my mouse, Pricky from last season, pops out of my pocket and runs toward it and runs up and sits on its head.
Oh my god. Okay.
Discovered that my
Amazing.
mouse has made a friend at some point when I wasn't around.
Yes. This. Okay, I need everyone to roll a will challenge roll, please, because seeing a mouse run toward an obvious natural predator is jarring to one's mental state.
That's a nat 20.
Good, Tess is fine.
Amazing.
That's a 4.
Egog, you
15.
gain 1 dread.
Oh, well, okay, hang on. If it's for dread, I have 5 boons. Just a minute. I know a lot of dark magic.
I think
I got a
RPG
10.
only rolls
Nothing
one.
phases me.
Clack is fine. Clack is like, this is the natural order.
I think it's
Um,
fine.
This is an owlbear. I don't know. It seems
I had a
fine.
I don't get these carbon-based life forms.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, so that's an 11.
Okay, Egog, you're fine. Like, you had a moment of dread, and then you fought through it. Alasta, what did you get?
11.
Okay, you're fine as well. Yes, this mouse runs up and bounds on top of this owl's head. And then the creature reveals itself to you, and you realize that its hulking form is the size and shape and vague coloration of a polar bear. It's not just an owl bear, it's a polar owl bear. And it is huge. And it has been living in the sewers and is thus covered in sewage.
Is this the reason that we have not been running into too many creepy crawlies in the sewer recently?
You know, maybe.
The rat population has been down.
How did he
And
even get down
all of
here?
the organ harvesters that we encountered last time have not been such a nuisance.
It looks at you
of
and
late.
then it turns its head. And then it just moves off down the hallway as though expecting you to follow it. Do you?
I've got to follow the mouse.
Yeah, if Egog's mouse trusts it,
Yeah,
I
Right,
think
Egog's eye trusts
yeah.
it.
I guess we're following the owlbear and the mouse.
I said that
What's-
explicitly to make Joel laugh.
Okay.
what's
Okay.
that, Lassie? Drudge is in the dungeons?
Okay. So, as you're following this owl bear, which I want to remind everybody came about because of donations to a great cause, you find several corpses, like skeletonized corpses, that have obviously been torn apart and crushed, potentially by an owl bear. And
Are
then
they
it-
wearing any specific insignias? Are they?
Oh, yeah, like a couple are wearing like tabards of like town guard, and a
Okay.
couple are just like they're wearing insignias of the local thieves guild, and just like the owl bear is an equal opportunity predator.
Okay.
Right? Ooh, smash anybody.
Okay.
I don't mean that in a fun way. I mean that in a violent way. Okay. The owl bear continues to lead you down the corridor. And eventually you come to a wider open room. The first thing that you notice about this chamber is the smell. It smells very pungently, and I got to reiterate that you're in a sewer. It's got to smell really bad to overcome the smell of the sewer. It smells very pungently of rotting human flesh,
Delightful.
which, to those who are less accustomed to the smell of a battlefield after a major battle, smells a bit like pork that no one has cooked in long enough. And this chamber, you go into it, you see that it is like a forest of hanging things. Like it, they seem like hanging flower pots and placements, but it smells awful, like rotting flesh, like I said.
Mm.
Hmm.
I look for
Um,
a corpse flower.
Okay, that's a totally reasonable thing to do. All right, Tess pauses, stops everybody, looks
Just
in a little more
looking
closely.
around.
You realize that the flowers that are hanging in, like, you know how garlic bulbs can sometimes be
Yeah.
hung in like strings? They're not garlic bulbs. They are disembodied human hands.
We
Okay.
encountered something like this before, didn't we?
Yeah, there was we do seem to
I-
pick up cards. This is an Egon. Let's
Yeah,
bring Egon forward and show this.
okay, so this seems like a scholar of the occult / scholar of history thing, which are both professions I have, plus heretic. Does this
Thousands
ring any bells?
of disembodied human hands.
Mm.
Some of them very old and very withered and desiccated, and some of them very fresh.
Suppose you could say they're handy with the decorations.
You could.
So
Okay,
it-
Egog, I would like you to make an intellect challenge roll.
Sure.
And you do have a boon because you have that historical scholarly background.
So that is a 20 on the die for a 26.
Oh my God. 5 years ago, there was a rash of murders that you solved, in fact, by slaying a creature called an organ harvester. And the bodies had two very distinct features to them. One, they were missing a bunch of their organs, like they had been cut and pulled out. And two is that they had their hands cut off.
Hmm.
The if you recall from that investigation, the hands being cut off was peri-mortem, as in happened about the same time as the deaths. The organ harvesting was post-mortem, clearly happened after the deaths. There was no bleeding around the organs being harvested, but there was plenty of bleeding around the hands being harvested. Which you realize now, with your amazing skill check, means there were two different killers. One who came and harvested the hands, and one creature that came after and took the organs. You defeated the creature that took the organs, but you just didn't follow up on the creature that took the hands.
Oh my.
I'm going to need each of you to make a will check with
Yes, you do.
2 Banes because you realize that you allowed potentially hundreds of additional victims to fall prey to this awful fate. Please make a check.
Is this for gaining dread?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do I have to roll that? I wasn't there.
Oh yeah. No, you're
Okay.
still experiencing something horrific. Oh, okay, Alasta, you only have one bane. You don't have two.
Okay.
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 So, Eric, I rolled a 14. Then if you apply 2 banes to that.
You only apply the higher rolling of the banes.
Okay, the bane is a die 6.
Yep. So you're gonna roll 2d6 and you're gonna take the higher roll.
Okay, the higher roll is a 5, so that drops me to 9.
All right. So in that case,
Even
Klack,
the Klack is horrified.
Klack, you gain 3 dread.
Okay.
Tess, what'd
11.
you 11? Okay, and that's with the banes and
That's
everything.
including the bane. Yeah,
All
it
right,
was a
Tess,
17
Tess, you
beforehand.
hold it together. You have seen a lot of corpses on a lot of battlefields, and this is
And I'm focused on
horrific.
Drudge too.
This is horrific, but your strong feelings toward Drudge are letting you block this out. Alasta, what'd you get?
Well, I rolled a 3, and then
Oh, no.
I also
You're
rolled
seeing
a...
some pretty horrific shit.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. You gain 3 dread as well.
Oh boy.
Egog.
I end up with a 19. I see some pretty awful stuff in my divinations. This is small potatoes.
This actually is kind of reassuring to you because you've seen this before in your divinations, like a forest of hands. You didn't know what that
literal.
meant.
I
And
thought
it
that
was-
was a metaphor.
It was surprisingly literal, yeah.
Okay.
It does seem like
Yeah.
a metaphorical, like a vision you would have, and then
I
Mm.
want to be clear, and this is a little bit post dated. This is the scene we were giving you the content warning about. Okay, so Not only-
skins.
you see all these garlic strands of hands,
Oh.
and they're filling this chamber, and then you hear a sound from within, like a pained exhalation. The owl bear, which has a little mouse on its head, it just stands by the entrance, just waiting. It does not seem to want to go into the room with the hand forest.
Yeah, the owl
No.
bear is on the right track, I think.
Yeah.
Like you'd think those might be good chew toys for the owl bear, but like nope, it does not want to go in there.
Yeah. Alasta is an information broker and courtesan. She is not made for this.
Alasta, I'm gonna want you to. Well, actually, I want everybody to do an agility challenge roll as well. If you gained dread during this
Yeah, I was gonna. How
encounter,
does that impact?
you are also going to gain 1 bane on this
Okay.
roll.
Okay.
22.
15.
Okay, you two are fine.
Okay, so
You're brushing up against the hand garlic strands, but they're just the like fingers are caressing your face and your shoulders, but otherwise no harm comes to
Hand
you.
strands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, with the
Yeah.
bane, I dropped to 4. I was at 10.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So my bane was a 3, but I rolled a nat 20.
All right. So Alasta, you're fine.
Yeah.
Klack, a bunch of the hands like fall upon you as though they are grabbing at you. In
Mm.
your dread state, you think that they are indeed grabbing at you, which
Attacking.
doesn't make any sense because they're dead. They're very, very, very dead, but they feel like they're clutching at you. You are going to gain an additional 1 dread.
nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Nope.
I'm at
That's right.
4 dead.
Nope.
Alasta, you came face to face with one hand that had an iron ring on it,
Mm.
and you narrowly avoided touching it.
Yeah, like I feel like there's
Okay.
a moment where she comes face to face with that and kind of recoils slightly. She's just like, oh.
Correct.
So would you say that this at this point is a triggered action?
Well, it depends. What action are we talking about?
Okay, so triggered actions with Klack are to hide or retreat.
Yeah, you can do that, sure.
Klack
I'm-
essentially.
I think when the system says triggered actions, they largely mean like kind of a minor action that can happen on your
Okay.
turn, or like it can be
It's like a
triggered by something else
reaction.
that happens.
Okay. So
In
the
D&D,
other,
it's like a reaction,
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right?
All right.
It's like 50% reaction, 50% bonus action. Like it could be something that you just trigger to happen,
Yeah.
and sometimes it can be triggered by something else that happens. So yeah, Clack, if you would like to just retreat out of that room and just hide by the owlbear, that's totally fine.
I think at this point, Klack would actually let's mix this up a little bit because I want to try grind gears. So Clack's going to take an extra action and attack the hands because Clack has been attacked.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Yeah, the hands are grasping at you,
Yeah.
reaching
So
into your eye sockets and your mouth
okay. So basically,
Nope.
this is going to be a shield bash.
and into your nostrils. Okay,
Shield bash.
great. Make an attack.
Okay. 12.
Yeah, you smash into one of the garlic strands of hands. The hand
And
strands, if you will. I'm
yeah.
just going to call them hand strands.
And at this point,
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
Clack is going to roll a d6. Oh, yeah, I have to roll the damage. For a shield bash.
Shield bash isn't a significant amount of damage, but it's still,
53,
it's a thing.
d6.
Like I kind of envision the shield like
8.
unfolding from around Clack's arm and just okay, 8. Yep. You
8.
shatter that hand strand, and hands go flopping limply all over the floor.
All right. So at this point, Clack is in danger of grinding Clack's gears.
Hmm.
Roll a d6. If you roll an odd number, you become an object.
Great. Go ahead and roll.
No.
3.
Clack
Clack
shuts
freezes
down.
down.
Clack's key, I mentioned this earlier in the show, just stopped, and Clack just freezes.
Have we seen this happen to Clack before?
Yes, you
Do we
have
know what
seen
we
this
need to
happen.
do? We need to wind Clack?
Usually Halash takes care of this.
Great.
You hear another sound echoing in the room.
Okay, I'm gonna try to scamper up Clack and try to figure out how to work the key.
Okay. So Clockwork have a key that motivates their whole operation. And in this case, let's see. All right, I'm going to need Egog to make an intellect check. You do have one boon based on your familiarity with Klack.
It's not like
Oh,
you could contribute a boon.
that is a 1 on the die for a total of 8.
Okay, so you know that Klack has a key that you can just turn and activate the clockwork again, but you cannot find it. You are looking all over and your fingers are sweaty, and like the Klack is slippery and it's cold metal that your fingers are just slipping off, and you hear that turn into oh my gosh, tonight.
No, no.
Ellie's face right there, just
This is not the party Alasta was hoping to attend.
close. You need fear no harm.
No.
So you can follow the voice if you want to. You can
Oh,
tell where it's coming from.
gosh.
Especially if you use life sense, because there's only one living thing in this room other than you.
I mean, oh,
Jane Kretchmer, ladies and gentlemen.
mm.
A perfect time to donate a boon.
So a question. I
Yes,
follow the old faith. What
you
does the
do.
old faith say about these kinds of situations? Like, you can look at certain faiths and they would be like, hey, don't fuck with undead. Don't fuck with things that live in forests of hands. Like, do not go away. Like, that's unhallowed ground. Go bye-bye. Other faiths
Okay.
would be like, you must go help. Like, so what does the old faith tell me about this?
So the old faith
I
primarily
know I shouldn't even
focuses.
ask that question because it's going to be like the old faith says, go hug it.
No, it's not that. The old faith focuses on deities of the land and of just various aspects of life, right? The old faith is full of deities. Cult of the New God just worships one god, and that's just too simplistic, right? The old faith acknowledges the presence of deities in every aspect of life, in all of the various pieces of the land, in the water, in the mountains, in the fire, in the air. Um, the
In the
old faith,
disembodied hands? I
And death
mean,
is one of their
the
gods, if
old
I recall.
the old faith doesn't particularly truck with witchcraft or demon worship, and you're not sure what this qualifies as, but there's no god of disembodied hands.
yeah, it's probably just not.
Yeah.
Death
They-
is to be respected in the old faith, but this is like a perversion beyond what you're accustomed to.
Yeah, this isn't death. The death is what happened apart from the hands. The hands were something else.
Learn of the truth.
Uh,
The shadow will come. The shadow descends. The heart will guide your path. His path.
Who are you?
I am the harbinger of the shadow. The you have allowed me to complete my life's work, to bring forth the darkness that will consume all. The thousand-handed
And I go,
one.
nope. And like I start gesturing to everybody like, let's go, out. Nope, nope, nope.
This is very
Congratulations.
interesting. Can you tell us more about it and what you still need to do? Maybe we
The Orc King shall take his power and destroy this world.
Is that all? Yeah.
Go.
Okay. I think that's enough. I think yeah.
Yeah. Alasta thinks we're done here.
Yes.
Thank you for leaving me to complete my work.
On.
So quick huddle. Try to say very like. Is it time to? Do we want to try to fight this thing, or do we just want to get out now that it told us? I mean, the That seems significant. That seems like something we might be able to interfere with.
Okay, so while you're considering, those of you with shadow sight is I think what it's called, or dark sight. Okay. Your vision has adjusted to the darkness and the miasma in this room, shall we say. And you see that the voice has been coming from this incredibly decrepit, nearly rotted old man lying in a cot in the corner of the room. There is absolutely no threat from this individual. Like
Lies.
the man is barely hanging together.
Lies.
Like his body is mummified and he's barely
Oh.
breathing. He looks like a corpse.
Alasta
And
doesn't
he
think
is
there's
obviously extremely old and withered.
Alasta doesn't think that they're actually much of a threat. They're kind of decrepit. I don't think they
That's
can
the
move.
voice.
Alasta doesn't think they can move.
If you wish, kill me. Or leave me to watch as darkness falls. Either way, destiny will be found.
If we leave him, the coughing might do it for us.
Yeah, you're pretty sure this individual is going to perish soon.
He's going to be gone. Gone.
You also realize that the old man's gnarled, withered, long-fingered hands are just stained with blood. Like just so much blood on those hands, like years of blood
One would think
that he's never washed off.
one would think he would wash.
With
So unsanitary.
His eyes have sunken, and his flesh is stretched tight to his bones. He looks like he's on the verge of death.
So we leave him to that.
I think we just nope out,
Yeah.
unless anybody has stronger feelings in the other direction.
Who's carrying Klack?
Am I the
can't-
strongest of us?
For
I'm
sure.
probably the
Um,
strongest of us, so I will scoop up Klack.
Okay, Klack is really heavy. How much does Klack weigh? Does it say on your character sheet?
I don't think so. I just wait. This is a child.
I believe Klack weighs 300 pounds.
Oh, I
or
don't know
so.
that I can carry that.
Oh.
You may just have to leave Clack's little statue down here.
No, I don't want to leave Klack with
Tell you
creepy
unless
hands,
you
man.
remember how to turn that key.
Leave Klack
I
in
mean,
the
I
forest
can
of
try.
hands.
Well, let's see. Lifting weights by strength. I have a strength of 13. I can carry. On a normal, I can carry 250 pounds. On a success, I can carry 500 pounds.
Eric,
Yes.
I would like to cast a psychometry spell.
Okay.
Klack is an object. It is a
Correct.
valid target,
Oh,
and that causes me to learn 1d6 true things about it. And I am hoping that one of those things happens to be the location of its key.
Roll a d6, please.
Oh.
2.
Well done.
2. Klack was designed for assassination and
Yes.
killed 547 people during the founding of the empire.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
whoa.
The second
storied
thing
career.
is the key can be located by inserting your fingers just under the head plate at the back of Klack's skull.
Okay, cool. I will go do that, and I will show everybody else here where the key is as well. Here, we can right here. If you slide your fingers under and fiddle a little bit, you'll find it. So let's wind Klack up.
I want to point out that the hand strands that are hanging from the ceiling, there are probably about 300 hands in here,
Great.
which means Klack has definitely killed more people than are represented in this room.
We'll assume they were bad.
That's a very
That,
nice
that's what we're going with.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
You reach in your fingers and start turning Klack's key. Make an agility test, please. It is a tradition of this game that I cause some lingering damage to Egog that modifies his body in some way. So let's see how this goes. What'd you get?
16.
All right. You pull your fingers out just before the skull clamps down, which would have clipped your 2 fingers off.
You have to have your protections for your key.
Instead, you just get your fingernails trimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Klack is essentially a Cybertruck, so
How does Halash do this?
Halash uses tool.
Not his actual fingers.
Okay. All right, Klack, you wake back up.
Yep.
You are no longer an object. You are a person again.
I'm still dreading these hands. Let's go, mistress. Let us go.
Yes, let us go.
You leave accompanied by the sound of mocking laughter. Okay, so we started a little bit late, so I am pushing us a little bit late here. Does anybody have a hard stop and they need to take off?
No.
Okay,
Good.
we're good. Okay. Anyone still watching? Thank you. Climax coming up. All right, so you make it back to Alasta's safe house, and somehow servants of Alasta have already been apprised of your approach and have brought you your equipment. So you have like your armor and your weapons and stuff all brought
Right.
to you. You didn't have to go back to Alasta's boudoir, but you are safe in the safe house. Okay.
Alasta believes in being prepared.
It is near dawn. Tess, you cannot quite shake the feeling that Drudge is still alive. Like you had that sense of Drudge's life force very strongly in your senses from the spell, and that feeling has not faded. Like Drudge has one of the strongest life forces that you've ever encountered, and you know for sure in your bones that he is still alive and in the prison, probably. Prison of Lamentation.
What
Which
a lovely
does
name.
have a sewer access.
It does or does not?
Does.
Okay, well.
Dan, I think you're muted.
Oh, I said, first of all, Prison of Lamentation, always a good name. Secondly, sewer access, one would hope.
I didn't name it the Dungeon of Fear and Hunger.
Yeah, there you go.
Dungeon of Lamentation. Yes.
Yeah, but even guards gotta poop, so there's got to be a sewer.
That's right. Everything has to poop except Klack.
Yeah.
Clack's just so superior about that too.
And maybe Alasta, maybe Alasta.
Yeah, jury's out on that one.
Just,
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know, but yes. But Klack
Okay.
is found observing humans. They all
So-
go to the.
It seems that if you're going to rescue Drudge,
Yes,
you got to go now. Like this is your best
Yes.
chance to
then
do
we're
that.
going.
Okay.
But while we're on the way, I want to real quick point out what that thing said sounds like it could easily refer to Drudge. The Orc King will take his throne. You know what? Actually, I'm going to burn my second augury real quick.
Okay.
And okay.
Hold on.
Yep.
Hold on.
Ugh.
Cards, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Again, I'm just going to shuffle them in front of you so you can see that it's totally random, that I'm not stacking the deck in any way. Okay. That is Temperance reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Not that
Five
we're
of
ever
Wands
reckless.
reversed.
Oof.
That's the Lovers upright. Ask your question.
Is Drudge killing? If Drudge becomes king, is that the tipping point that I have been seeing that will cause the great doom?
No.
Okay.
Good try.
Yep. That's maybe I should have asked about killing the king.
Cannot express how awesome those cards were. Okay. Okay.
The cards know sometimes.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we're going to take our reckless action and go find Drudge.
Yeah, I think we need to spring him
Now,
and get him out of
perhaps
the.
with our owlbear friend.
Yes, I'm thinking owlbears make for a great distraction. Does anybody?
Great chaos. They are
Yeah,
fantastic
or chaos.
chaos.
Yep, a polar owlbear.
I don't have all of the Shadow of the Demon Lord supplements, but I'm pretty sure Owlbear is not a standard creature in the Shadow of the Demon Lord. 'Cause, I mean, it's a Wizards of the Coast specific creature.
I think it's
Okay.
like the older. Yeah.
So what we have in Shadow of the Demon Lord is a creature similar. Like
Okay.
it is a huge bear, huge monstrosity. Like there are spikes protruding from it, and its claws are long enough to tear gouges in stone. But it has a tiny, tiny, tiny little owl head. It just boop, pokes out of it.
Oof.
Similar to, but legally distinct from.
Similar to, but legally distinct.
Nicely done.
We'll call it a bear owl.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We'll
Who's
call it
gonna
a polar bear
Bowel?
owl.
No, bowel. No,
We'll call it a
no,
bowel.
no,
Yes.
It's not a bowel.
no.
It's not a
I
bowel.
regret that immediately.
You should. Okay. So you're
A
gonna go
bowel
back.
that lives in the sewers.
Gonna go back to
Oh,
rescue
dear.
Drudge. Okay. So
It's
you're
midnight.
gearing up to
Drudge
rescue
may not
Drudge.
want to be rescued.
Meanwhile, Drudge, you are imprisoned. You are strung up by your hands and tortured endlessly. You lose track of time. Eventually, you were left alone in a cell. It is incredibly dark. You can barely see through it with your orc eyes, which are themselves damaged by your torture. But you see these tiny moving creatures that start eking their way across the floor to you. Like they look more like gelatinous figments of some sort of existence that is beyond your understanding. And they keep saying, Drudge, King, Drudge, King, as they creep their way towards you.
I just think that they're figments of my imagination because I've been under just so much pain and lack of sleep.
Yep.
If any of them like approach me and
They
like
do. Starting to approach you.
I think he waits until they crawl on him.
Yep. No, they start crawling on you, on your face, on your neck, behind your ear, between your ear and your head,
I think
up
as
your
soon as they
nostril.
I think as soon as they get like around his chest or shoulders, he's gonna lick his cracked, dried lips and then just like lunge and try to bite one.
Make an attack roll, please. Agility based. Although your agility is now 8.
15.
Okay. You bite one and your jaw, the few teeth remaining in your jaw close down on this gelatinous creature, which bursts in your mouth, filling your mouth with just this like piece of like rotted flesh and something vaguely acidic and like tomato almost.
Oh, I see.
And you hear a voice in your head that says, not yet. Not yet. And then the creatures start seeking your mouth specifically. They start creeping up your neck and across your face and into your mouth as though they're drawn that way.
He's gonna try to just chew the crap out of them and just swallow them for sustenance because yeah.
You hear a
He refuses
mocking
to die.
laughter that echoes through the chamber. Destiny. Okay, back to the rest of the party. All right, you're geared up. You're headed to the palace, well, to the dungeon. The dungeon is removed from the palace. It is a ways away because nobody can sleep with all that screaming, right? The
But
palace
you don't
of,
have the Palace of Misery built right on top of the Dungeon of
the
Lamentations?
Dungeon of Lamentation is known throughout the realm for being a place of bitterness and loss and sadness and the complete end of one's existence. It's not simply that you die there, it's that you are forgotten and unlamented, ironically. And you are there, and Tess, that spell that you cast that's still linking you to Drudge has drawn you in that direction. You're all there, you're all geared up. Let's just take a moment to describe yourself all geared up for this fight. What do you look like? What's your mannerism? What's your vibe? We'll start with Tess because I think
Yeah.
Tess is pretty combat ready. So
Yeah, Tess is geared up in full scale armor with a shield and just ready to go get Drudge to take on whatever is in her way. The armor gleams with the light of righteousness against the darkness and the doom and the gloom. And Tessa's jaw is set. She is ready to just go get this done.
okay. Alasta.
Alasta has traded out.
Unless you just abandon all of these fools to their fate. Like that's totally reasonable. You're not part of the company, but no,
Oh,
you're there,
so
right?
kind.
Yes, she's there.
Okay.
She's traded out the, fancy dress for leather armor, like very dark leather armor, with a rapier belted at her hip, dagger kind of strapped to the opposite thigh, and she's kind of completely like practically, braided her hair so that it's not getting in the way. But this is very much she's moving with the manner of someone practiced with stealth and other things one does in stealth.
Is there anything you can tell us specifically about your rapier or its construction?
They are, I believe, does this extend to both the rapier and the dagger? Because I know the dagger is made of silver.
The dagger is made strictly of silver rather than
Yes.
steel. The
Mhm.
rapier is just a steel rapier. But I'm asking specifically about the handle and like the hilt.
Okay, you're asking for like design. Okay.
Yeah, just because it's interesting.
I imagine it's like it's a kind of a filigree basket hilt, but it's kind of designed to represent like to look like vines and leaves.
And what
It's
is
very
it? What is it
naturalistic.
made of?
Oh, the basket hilt is definitely silver. It's not gonna be steel.
It's obviously a spendy thing, and it is somewhat delicate, right?
Mhm.
Not like this. It doesn't have the strength of steel.
Yeah.
I mean, for practice warriors like yourselves, you might look at it and go, "That's silly. Why would anyone use that in actual combat?" But
Mhm.
that's what Alasta has. And the guard is wrapped very thickly in leather, right?
Mhm.
As though it's a super comfortable grip.
I think Egog may take special note of that. Just, interesting. That's something I might be able to use.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Egog, what do you look like when you're decked out and ready?
He is actually still in his dark leathers. Hood is up. He has retrieved his obsidian dagger that he found in a dig site once, and his whip is now on his other hip, and he also has a sling. But
I like how Egog is a little bit horror Indiana Jones as a goblin, which is
that's
really
fair.
funny.
And yeah, but in manner he's actually kind of preoccupied. He hopes they're doing the right thing because of what that creature said. He is worried that is connected to the apocalypse, to the tipping point. He hasn't figured it out yet, but this
Trying to
could
put
all
it
go.
together.
Destiny can be a bad thing, and he's worried. He's worried that they're whether or not they're doing the right thing.
Okay,
Whether
Klack.
rescuing his friend will doom the world.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
Klack has shed the little Cupid wings that were part of the disguise for the party,
Uh-huh.
and is now just a polished copper and brass automaton, marching on Tess's left side to serve as shield, should she be attacked, and armed with arm axe, shield, punch dagger, and shock charge.
Many of which are just like intrinsic to your body. Like,
Yeah, so I mean,
your hand will hold down and a dagger will appear, that
yeah,
kind of thing.
I mean, basically, a little walking weapon, stomping
Okay.
along,
Okay.
slightly in front. Because I'm here to take damage and deal damage.
Cool.
And
So,
I imagine that's how you introduce yourself. Hello, I am Klack. I'm
I
here
am
to take
Klack.
damage and deal damage.
Deal damage. Yes, I am here to serve.
Right to the point.
all right. So the prison of lamentation is primarily a yawning abyss that just delves deep, deep, deep into the earth. There's a spiral landing, basically, that extends upward, like a screw, more or less. And on each level, there will be an entrance, a barred entrance to a torture chamber, a dungeon. And Tess, you can follow the sense of Drudge's life force to a particular level, which is deep. Like they have obviously brought him to a deep, deep level. There are guards
Not for
roaming
long.
on those along the levels of the dungeon. You can see them because they're carrying torches, or actually they're carrying oily lanterns that are just smoking up into the massive tunnel that leads up to the ground far above. You're at least 200, 300, 400 feet deep in the ground. So would you like to elude the guards, or would you like to try and fight the guards?
How many are there?
They're somewhat above you, but you're pretty sure that there would be like maybe 2 to 4 guards.
I mean, look, if we don't have to fight them, let's not fight them.
Okay.
But if they see us, then we'll deal with them.
They seem to be traveling upward away
Then
from you.
let's let them continue away from us.
Okay. Because you have Alasta, because she knows about the connection from the sewer to this prison. You've never been here yourselves, but Alasta seems pretty confident in how to get here, and she was right. You get into the prison. The guards are above you, and they're moving away, so you can head down the spiral staircase toward the sense of Drudge's life force. It is down at least 10 levels, so you go deeper, deeper, and deeper into the ground. You can feel the weight of stone and earth pressing down upon you, like the sheer force of the world above on your shoulders, essentially. But you come to a door that you were pretty sure Drudge is behind.
What's the door made of?
It is an iron door, and it is bolted hard into the stone wall beside it. It does have a lock, a thick, stout padlock, which you can either break off or you can try and pick open.
Can I make the case that I have plenty of experience with handcuffs?
Sure. Yeah, you do have a boon if you're gonna attempt to just open up that padlock.
What would you like me to use on that?
That would be agility.
Oh, and I can re-roll my boon because it landed on a 1, which didn't do me much good, but 18.
I do want to remind everyone that Tess was born under the sign of the dominating soul, and she's accustomed to getting her way and forcing those around her to do what she wishes.
She also may have a small torturer's kit with her.
That's
Dirty
right.
20.
Excellent. So Alasta is like, hey, I can pick locks, and you're like, I know how to do this. You open up that padlock. Okay.
Well done.
Yep. You pull it off. You pull it off, and you can now slide the door open if you wish.
Yeah, just peek in.
Okay. Sure enough, you see Drudge there, and he has been tortured significantly.
Can I go heal him?
Like he's hanging from the wall, and like there's blood all over the wall and underneath him. He doesn't have any mortal wounds, but like his tendons are severed, and his his tongue is missing. He can't speak. Like it's just dramatic. He's this
like everything
horrible
about Drudge lately.
waste of what he once was.
I'll heal Drudge.
Okay.
They work quickly.
I can either do a healing potion or
And so much for waiting for the trial.
Or Font of Life, just depending what I need to be using.
Yeah,
here.
you can heal him out of touch, so with your paladin abilities.
Yeah,
if you like.
Sure.
Drudge, you kind of like come back to awareness, You are just in agony. Your body hardly functions. You can't speak.
So go ahead and take back half of your rate.
Yep, you heal half your healing rate, so that's your current hit points.
Does that do anything to his physical
Uh.
body? Does it, restore anything?
I mean, not really. I mean, you're able to breathe, you're able to see, kind of like vaguely, but your body is a mess.
I think after you heal him, maybe he senses like the familiar energy that you're like putting into him. He recognizes that it's you. But he thinks it's like unreal at first. Like he's just having another delusion or something, because all of those delusions that he's been having lately have just felt so real. But then yeah, he gets enough strength to crack open his eyes, and he opens them and sees the face of Tess, and then Egog, and then Klack, and then Alasta, and you see him break into a smile.
Mouth is free of teeth. Doesn't have any teeth. And his tongue is gone as well.
Well, these are later problems. This
Drudge.
is not something we can fix
He's-
right now.
He jiggles his chains a little bit, like trying to get out of them.
These are going to be 2025 Shadow of the Demon Lord issues.
You,
Right.
Yeah.
Is, is,
you, sorry.
if we get you down, can you walk? Nod yes or no?
Do I feel like my tendons are there? Can I walk?
No. Mm-mm.
Is anybody strong enough to carry him?
And
He's,
Klack?
I mean, yes, Klack could carry
Klack,
him.
yeah,
Yes.
Klack has got a 14 strength.
Yeah, you're strong enough to carry him.
It's
Yeah.
just he's large, but you're just gonna have to sort of
Drudge,
raise him on
like,
back.
your
A
life
platform you can
is
extend.
pain and suffering and loss. Like, so much of yourself is just gone. But one thing remains. So that pouch that has the strange bit of flesh inside it is still there. They didn't take that from you. Apparently, they couldn't see it. Only you can see it. And it speaks to you. And it says, yes.
You get one side. Alasta will get the other.
Right.
Yes.
I will need both of you to make agility challenge rolls, please.
And I am turned around and keeping a watch at the door.
Destiny.
I think even though Drudge can't really talk, he's going to try his hardest to whisper Tess's name.
Offer the sacrifice.
He's gonna
This.
try. I don't know. Can I like roll something to like try so hard to just form the words "run"?
Well, we had
Believe-
hand signals last time.
Oh yeah, maybe he'll try to do that with his hand while making that
Okay.
sound.
Your hands don't work super well, but you can sort of, like, Tess, I'll need you to make an intellect challenge roll, but
Okay.
I want to know the results of the agility test
It
first.
was a dirty 20.
Okay.
Also dirty
Yeah.
20.
Yep, you unbuckled both of his arms, and he collapses to the ground, a bloody wreck of himself, but still barely alive.
May I make a case for a boon on this, because it would be student of war, that this was a code, a battlefield code we had?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Sacrifice. the voice says.
It's 24.
24. He is clearly signaling you to run, to leave immediately.
You know what? I trust Drudge.
Okay.
I
So-
didn't with the king because that was Drudge like going against everybody being like, hey, don't do this. But this is battlefield code. This is if somebody says run, who's one of your people, you trust them on that.
Okay.
I look at everyone, I say, we run. Now.
What?
And I'm out
Drudge
the door.
nods.
Yeah.
The voice says. Drudge, make a will challenge roll, please.
This would be so bad.
Yeah. Alasta's out
Okay.
the door.
I'm gonna use a boon feature I have from this piece of equipment that oh god.
Great.
damn it.
I'm going to give you Aaron's Bane.
7. Oh, okay. Well, that's a 2.
Eric wants this to go so badly.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for good
What-
story, Aaron.
What'd you get, Yang Yang?
2.
All right.
That is the smile of a DM who is so happy.
Reality
no.
starts unfolding around you. The walls expand and contract as though they are breathing, or more accurately, as though they are dying, breathing hard, trying to cling to life. You see clawed hands start reaching out of the stone toward all of you.
Yeah,
And
Alasta
you
was.
hear disembodied voices saying, "Sacrifice. Sacrifice." You gonna flee?
Oh yes, like Alasta was moving before this
Alasta's
happened.
out of there. Gone. Bye-bye. What about the rest of you?
Klack's going to pick up Drudge and put it over Klack's shoulder and move toward the door.
Okay.
And try to rescue Drudge.
Egog.
That was the order from Tess.
I'm moving with Klack, and I'm going to ask Drudge while we're moving. Are you the sacrifice? Hand sign. And try to get
Drudge gives you a very definite negative.
You are okay.
Tess.
I'm already out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Tess trusted Drudge
I did.
in life and now in pseudo life, and is getting the hell out of there. Okay, out in the deep well of the dungeon.
Now we did not hear him say sacrifice, right? That only Drudge heard that.
No, you heard the demons coming out of the wall saying that.
Okay.
So in the deep well of the dungeon, you can see hands and faces appearing out of the stone, repeating that term, sacrifice. And you see a rising tide of writhing bodies emerging from this pit of darkness toward you. And the word they keep saying is sacrifice, sacrifice.
We need to improve their vocabulary.
Yeah.
Or have a vocabulary.
You're just gonna keep running?
Since I have dark speech and hierarchaic, am I hearing any other words in that, or just sacrifice?
Oh yeah, there are darker words that they're speaking as well. They all have kind of the same basic meaning, though.
Okay.
It's clear that you are intended to be the sacrifice.
Mm.
You and your love and loyalty and connection to this person has doomed you in the voices of these demonic hordes.
Yeah, so running very fast,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
taking steps like 2 or 3 at a time.
Okay. Like you get to the exit into the sewers where you came from, and it is full of more demonic forms starting to approach you from out of the sewers.
Of course it is.
Do you keep going up?
And up's the only option.
I tell
You know
Klack
what?
I tell
If
Klack to
there-
put Drudge down.
I drop
Yeah.
Drudge.
I think like Drudge is trying to give you like the hand sign for like retreat.
Drudge, make a will check, please, with 3 banes.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
we still have a boon you can use. Just off
Yeah,
that
I'm not
one.
gonna use it. It's it's a 1 basically. Like, can you go negative?
No, I remember with banes you only use the highest rolling of the 3. You don't use all
Oh
3.
yeah. But can I still go negative?
You can.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, it's a -2.
Great. Drudge, you find yourself in a darkened field with black grasses growing all around you. And there is an entity before you, just poised there before you. And it says in your head and in your ears and in your reality, you are the chosen one. You are the one who bring me forth. What boon might I grant you? You have one wish. What will it be? This creature is of unfathomable size, impossible depth, undescribable evil.
So I think Drudge, throughout all the years, has really wholeheartedly believed in the goal of creating like a just and equitable place for everybody, his friends especially. Egog, who's been despised by most of society, and Klack, who's thought of as nothing but like a tool by most, and Tess, whose very fate has just been determined by the family that she was born into and not allowed to show them and become the person that she wants to be. But at the same time, they're what's always been important to him. So I think he's got, and after being betrayed by the king, he does have this anger that's just so deep in him, and he's just fighting to hold that back, and fighting to survive, just to like, try to have another chance at making this dream work. But I think that, he's tired, and I think he realizes that even if the magic's not going to save him, then, maybe his wish is going to be God. I wish for you to destroy this world, but spare my
Oh.
friends.
It is done. And that's where we're going to leave it.
Oh.
Thank you for coming along with me and all of us on this journey into darkness and Shadow of the Demon Lord. Welcome to the eclipse.
Oh my gosh.
We cannot wait a year to do the next chapter.
Oh my
I guess.
Oh.
I guess we'll see what happens. I have been Erik Scott de Bie, the dungeon master / demon master of this game. And again, I just want to give a shout out to Rob Schwalb for creating the setting and this system, which has given
Super fun.
so much inspiration and so much fun in this great story. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to the Dungeon Scrawlers. We are participating Extra Life throughout this weekend. If you tune in tomorrow, or rather later today, because it is Sunday, you will get to see some extra adventures. We have Lauren's bachelor party and a ladies' tea because Artemisia and Florin are getting married. Characters from the Westgate Irregulars campaign and spin-off Fearful Symmetry. It's just this great catharsis for those campaigns, and I'm really looking forward to it. I get to play Sarshan. I always love playing Sarshan, and it's going to be fun. You can find my stuff online. I'm a writer, game designer. You just find my stuff. I want to give a shout out to the Westgate Irregulars Discord. Please join our Discord. We have lots of conversations about this game and other games and about Extra Life and all of our ongoing campaigns. And it's a great situation with lots of fun places to be and things to talk about. So thank you so much. I will leave it there so that we can all get sleep. Take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks.
I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short. I'm a writer, game designer, TTRPG streamer, resident tech gremlin for the night. And I'm actually was really excited to get to take part in this because I actually checked earlier. This was the character you were going to have me play last time, and then I had to back out. So I was finally glad to get to play.
That
her.
is
This was
correct,
fun.
ma'am.
Right. Jen?
Hi, I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me on the interwebs as @DreamWisp, and I stream sometimes on Twitch as DreamWispJen. You can check out some of my work in the new Dungeon Master's Guide. It's cool. Check it out. And then tomorrow you can come hang with us on Players and Book at 3 p.m. Pacific. We have a fun aquatic nautical campaign. We had subaquatic marionettes, and we're about to go deal with the Fae, and that's going to go well, I'm sure. So come join us tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
I'm Rosemary Jones. I'm a writer. You can find me these days in Arkham Horror doing cozy horror things. The next book will be out in early 2025. But online, you can find me under rosemaryjones.com, give you links to all the books and all the socials. And it's been so much fun to come back and play Klack one more time and maybe survive till 2025. We'll see. But most of all, thank you to everybody who contributed. We went over goal, and that's the whole point of this thing.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Yep. Thank you. Yes. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Erik and all of my fellow players. This has been awesome. And please, if you have not already done so, please go vote on Tuesday because elections have real consequences, especially for our most vulnerable communities. Yang Yang?
Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Yang Wang. I was just thinking, like, you said cozy horror, Rosemary, and I'm like, holy crap, can we do that?
Can we do that, right?
Yeah, like whenever, but really next Halloween, I would love to just do that.
Before next Halloween, because if it's cozy, it can be any time.
It can be
True,
anytime.
true.
It's just
Rosemary
not.
is the person to talk to about cozy horror too. So
Love
like,
it.
It's
highly
my thing.
recommend all of her Arkham Horror books. I'm not gonna say they are cozy necessarily, but like there's a certain wholesomeness to them, and it is
Oh, come on.
well worth
My
experiencing.
Christmas and Arkham book, it practically knits you a sweater. It's so cozy.
Okay,
Amazing.
okay.
Wholesome
The
horror.
Christmas and Arkham book.
Love that
Yes.
concept.
All right. All right.
Such a good
I'm just
concept.
saying it's so good. It's so good. Look up Rosemary's Arkham Horror books, and I want to thank. Since I think we've gone through everybody, I want to thank everybody for participating in this game. You did such a good job, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for our audience for sticking with us. And I hope you enjoyed. Will we see a return of Shadow the Demon Lord in a subsequent year? We'll see.
Yes.
World doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, but also we have to do 2 giveaways real quick. I just
Yeah,
drew their
let's
do
names
that.
behind, so
Yeah.
let's just
Thank you for
start
everybody
there.
who's been here for Saturday Extra Life. We have a couple giveaways to do, and Yang Yang is going to take care of that. So take it
Okay.
away, buddy.
The first winner for the set of Phoenix Dice of your choice from phoenixdice.com is Gleaming Metal.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Yeah.
And then the gift card that we're giving away tonight is $50 for Monty Cook Games, and that is going to be The Real Bunny Beast.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yay.
Oh, Monty Cook makes such good stuff.
Such
Oh,
good
man, you
games.
have such a good
Speaking of
library
horror,
things.
Darkest House, and they're doing the
Ooh.
Kickstarter for the sequel right now, but Darkest House is a really cool.
We've been talking about playing that on our channel so many times over
It's
the years.
so good.
Just
The
because
book
it's
is
almost 1 a.m. and I've
beautiful,
had like 6 bourbons, I'm just going to say, like, hopefully there will be a Darkest House that shows up on the Dungeon Scrawlers sometime soon. And hopefully Shauna Germain will be part of it. You get to see her in one of our games tomorrow. In fact, 2 of our sessions. I think she's going to be in the final battle as well. So check out our Extra Life stuff going on tomorrow as well. What a wonderful gamer and a wonderful designer. Looking forward
Yes.
to it.
Yeah, and just real quick, today, the first day, we ended at over $3,000 out of our $5,000 goal, so we are over 50%. Like, thank you all so much. Thank you for your generosity, and we will see you tomorrow.
Huge shout out to Evan Powers for that huge donation
Yeah.
there. I hope you were pleased with what happened. And thank you so much.
The world now consists of 6 people and an owlbear.
Yes, the owlbear is one of Judge's
Yeah.
friends too. He
Yeah, he's gonna
instantly fell in
survive.
love with
That's
it.
right. If we come back to Shadow of the Demon Lord, there will be an owlbear who will be legally distinct from WotC owlbears. So no problem. Thank you so
We'll work
much.
on that.
I appreciate it. The kids appreciate it. Thank you for all of your generous donations.
Night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Peace.
And everybody.